Zoids Battle Legends.
How's it going? It's been a while. It's always been a while, right? We're going to play some Zoids. We're going to watch some of this Pangburn debate between Destiny and all these crazy people. I got the controller set up properly for this game, so we should be good to go. Should be able to play a lot smoother than I was before. Hi. How's it going? Alright. Without further ado, let's start this debate. Let's start this game. I looked up some information on this game. It's been a very long time since I played, so turns out you can unlock the Zoids by playing battle mode. I thought I had to play the mission mode. The mission mode is to unlock some of the characters from the story, but I don't care as much about the characters as I do about unlocking the Zoids. The Zoids are the most important thing, obviously. Just turn down the volume for the game a little bit. For me, it can be kind of loud. You guys getting anything through the game? I don't think you are right now, right? Hold on a second. What about now? No? That's strange. I don't seem to be getting game volume. Is it because I'm playing it through DirectX, maybe? Oh, you know what? Okay, let me try that. Now? No? Nope. Try this. Nope. Oh. Okay, I guess all I had to do is reset it. That's annoying, though. Okay. This music's super annoying when it plays over and over again. And then there's got to be a way. I got to figure out how to make the output in my headphones lower than it is for the stream, because... Oh, you know what? Actually, if I turn down the music for myself, but then I turn it up for you guys... There, I think that's good. Alright. Without further ado, let's get into this Pangburn debate.
I think we're ready to rock and roll if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are, yeah.
So first of all, how many of you were able to watch the video of Steven's performance in Detroit for the first anti-Trump tour date? Did you guys see it? Yeah? Did you guys enjoy it? Well, we're going to do the same format here tonight. We might have time.
Imagine calling him Steven. That's
for
cringe.
some people who haven't signed up to debate to take the stage and to debate a topic with Steven. But we are going to start with those who bought a debate ticket online. We should have 9 debaters in the house, but we'll see who showed up and who didn't. But yeah, welcome everyone. I like I was just mentioning, I am Canadian, and I do feel like this is kind of me trying to invade the United States to some degree right now and fight Trumpism, and that's what this tour is all about. And I think the greatest warrior I can bring onto the team to be in the front lines fighting is Stephen Bonnell, Destiny, right? Yeah. So I just want to get right into the debates here. So I want to bring up first someone who said their reason for voting for Trump was that Trump was one of the few people that has genuinely been able to change and make an impact in the American government. For example, the vaccines for COVID. He knows how to respect his base. Please welcome to the stage, Tristan Zapp.
Oh, I see. He's making that argument. Okay. He was one of the only presidents to do something, right, is the argument? I mean, other presidents do stuff too. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're doing something good, right? It's kind of the silly part. Can I sell Zoids? Oh, I can. Should I remove the weapons first? I think I should be able to, right?
Tristan, you're up. Okay, buddy. Make sure you talk nice and close to the mic.
Yeah, it's all properly. We good? Okay, because I kind of talk a little bit on the louder side. All right, awesome.
Loud and proud.
So, hello, I'm not sure if you prefer to be called Destiny or Steven.
Steven's fine here. Yeah.
Okay, Steven. Okay. So the general gist is I felt like across the board when it came to Donald Trump's election as a whole, a lot of the stuff when it came to his policies and respecting his base, I thought.
All these young boys, frankly speaking, I know this is going to be kind of rude, but a lot of young guys these days, it's kind of sad. They all just kind of follow each other. So if like all your buddies are like, oh yeah, Trump is fucking cool, he's the best, he's awesome, the deep state, the establishment, right? A lot of young boys these days, like their identity is very much tied into acceptance from their peers and what's hip and what's cool and what's considered, you know, in the moment. A lot of them, it's funny, they all think they're like fighting the man, I guess, fighting for the cause. They've chanced upon like some luck, sage knowledge that their parents and everybody before them didn't want them to know. But the funny thing is they circled back around to the conservatism of the boomers. It's not really like they're rejecting the establishment. They're rejecting kind of like the established culture that existed a generation prior to them. So like Gen X and millennials. Gen X has also kind of changed too. But there's a time when Gen X would have rejected like this conservatism stuff. So they think they're the counterculture, but the reality is that this entire project they support is basically the counterculture rebranding, or sorry, the establishment, the deep state, they want to, whatever you want to call it, rebranding itself as the counterculture. But if you're just voting for the establishment power structure, that's just calling itself the deep state. You're just voting for the establishment with a fancy mask on. You're not really fighting the system or anything. You haven't found some sage knowledge. In fact, they repeat a lot of the same talking points like everybody else online repeats. These are common talking points. You'll often hear people say, oh, we can't say this or that anymore, or people won't let you think what you want to think, and I'm actually a free thinker. And it's like, let's be real here. The stuff that you repeat is stuff everybody's repeating right now. You haven't found any new sage knowledge. It was given to you, and it's been given to you by design. It's a specific type of quote-unquote anti-establishment. It's anti-establishment TM, trade marketing, anti-establishment as a branded product.
We're perfectly in line with what I wanted. And the main thing I kind of wanted to fixate on, which I think you'd appreciate, is one, the vaccine response, right? Where a lot of people look at that as an overreach of government and an overreach of the fact that the FDA just sped run through the testing. I honestly thought it was a really good result, and to show the fact that I think that there can be a benefit to going about things in a very undemocratic way, right? Because
yeah, I mean, it depends on what kinds of things you're talking about, but I think that vaccine rollout was actually a quote-unquote democratic way. I'm pretty sure all of that was within the purview of the president and also signed off in legislation by the legislative branch. So the idea that you needed like some strongman dictator to come in and do it is silly. The other issue with that is the strongman dictator approach that he's advocating for was also the same person that was advocating against the vaccine, spreading conspiracies about the vaccine and the pandemic. So it's not really like he was a great benefit. If anything, it was a wash. I don't know if I should actually sell these weapons. I guess I already did. They're selling everything. Liquidating. I like the command wolf, so we're keeping the command wolf. Buy some new Zoids here. And then the other thing too is that like you gotta weigh the risk versus rewards. So if you're saying like, oh, there's this one little policy thing that he kind of sort of did well, which was maybe the Operation Warp Speed, which he also kind of pushed back against with like all the mask conspiracism, the like pushing back on efforts to work collectively as a nation to curb the spread or whatever. You're cherry picking in a very dishonest way, number one. Number two, if you were to grant like all of that with all the other context there, is it really worth having like a dictator, a non-democratic? This is the delusion these people sell themselves. Like, you are betting on the riskiest proposition possible that you want an autocratic state, autocratic government, autocratic leader to be like a benevolent dictator who will like fix everything without all like the messiness and stonewalling of democracy or republic and everything. But the issue is that same person or that same model of government is going to wind up destroying your country in all kinds of ways that are way bigger in scope and scale than Operation Warp Speed. So things like not being able to vote an autocrat out. They put an autocrat in. How do you get an autocrat out? Usually it's not by democratic means. Usually it's going to come at the point of a sword or at the tip of a gun, right? They don't leave willingly. And so that risk that you're taking for some marginal reward is going to lead to a situation that's probably like the most dire situation you could put your country in. If you love your country, you don't put your country in a position like that. The same thing can, that same dictator can wind up cracking down on speech or the freedoms that we have or, XYZ different thing. So you have all these things, all these liabilities that you have, your rights, your freedoms, the corruption or the integrity of your government system, your ability to have representative government, your ability to change the government if it doesn't work the way that you want it to. You're losing all of these things for some potential upside that is very, very marginal that you're referencing. And even the idea that you're going to get something super amazing from one leader, the issue again is going to be not just that one leader who's like this miraculous figure that frankly speaking doesn't really exist. The model that you guys are making Donald Trump out to be is not really, he's not really this super squeaky clean amazing person who is good in all respects and he makes all the right decisions. He is not the benevolent dictator, nor is he the smart, wise, stable dictator who's going to make things better for everybody. It's messy, it's chaotic, he's all over the place. But even if he was the ideal fantasy, childish, honestly immature guy that you thought he was, what's going to happen after him? Is his son going to take over? Is one of the people in his administration that you think are corrupt are going to take over? Who's going to take over after that? And then the issue now is this once in a trillion possibility that you get the benevolent dictator. The next person who takes over is statistically probably not going to be that. They're probably going to be the bad kind of dictator. But now you fucked yourself because you removed your ability to vote, to have representation, to change out that leadership now. You've made it permanent. The short-term mindset that you're engaging in will fuck us long-term. It's not worth it.
As we look at the amount of lives that the vaccine saved, and someone that we see as an inherently like authoritarian figure, honestly wound up saving a lot of lives, and I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why I wound up re-electing him and re-voting for him, because he strikes me as someone that is capable of not being afraid to bend the rules of government in order to pass through policies that actually can and do help people.
So I think that in that argument there is a very buried nugget of truth where, people were critical. Abe Lincoln, suspending habeas corpus for a little bit during the Civil War and everything, and you've got Trump, who I don't know if I would say Operation Warp Speed is an undemocratic way necessarily to approach trying to speed the vaccine thing. The only reason I say it is because democracy can mean a lot of different things. It doesn't mean that the executive is acting, therefore it's not democratic, right? I don't know if he necessarily broke any laws or any rules. But I would say that the biggest issue when it comes to looking at Donald Trump breaking rules is his lack of a coherent plan or his lack of vision for what he's trying to do.
I have back-to-back meetings, I can't find my notes, and I haven't had coffee.
Man, I wouldn't want to be you.
Sometimes ends up, shooting himself in the foot as opposed to actually being able to take advantage of the thing that he's done. So for instance, I kind of say that as a backhanded compliment when people say, well, what was good about Trump? And I'll say, oh, well, Operation Warp Speed.
Oh,
and the
nice.
reason why it's a backhanded
Camouflage.
compliment is because Trump doesn't take credit for Operation Warp Speed anymore because he poisoned his entire audience against the vaccine such that when you say it saved lives, it did. It saved Democratic lives because in general, Democrats were more likely to get vaccinated than Republicans were.
Yeah.
That's also worth looking into. I don't believe Operation Warp Speed was exclusively an executive branch move. I'm pretty sure, right? Didn't this come from Congress as well? So Operation Warp Speed was a public-private partnership initiated by the United States government facilitating accelerated development, manufacturing, and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. At the end of February, Operation Warp Speed was transferred into the responsibility of the White House COVID-19 response team. Officially announced the public-private partnership. The purpose of Operation was to coordinate health and human service-wide efforts, including NIH Active. Was formed to encourage private and public owner partnerships to enable White House Press Secretary goals. Okay. Used BARDA as a financial interface between us and biomedic industry. What is BARDA? Advanced Research and Development Authority. Okay, so BARDA was created in 2006. So while the Trump administration coordinated for this implementation of policy to go into effect, Operation Warp Speed, the reality is that a lot of these powers, a lot of the infrastructure for this comes from, not from the benevolent dictator, but from Congress, from prior congressional legislation, from, quite frankly speaking, the establishment, from the institutions. Those things, that infrastructure was built before Donald Trump ever came into the office for these reasons. So this idea that we need dictatorship and that the answer isn't Republican democracy is kind of silly when you consider that all of the powers, all the infrastructure that Donald Trump just came in and utilized for Operation Warp Speed, all of that was created by our legislative bodies in anticipation for things like this, because this whole pandemic was not something Donald Trump anticipated. It's not something, frankly speaking, in the grand scheme of things he responded well to. This is the isolated circumstance where he did have a effective response. But the ability to foresee issues that would arise in the future and then set up the infrastructure for that was built by Republican democracy. It was built by our Congress.
So you made a lot of solid points there, and in a roundabout way, I think some of the things you bring up with the fact that he often shoots himself in the foot is a very Trump thing to do. And I've watched it time and time again throughout his administration, and it's an unfortunate thing, but plenty of presidential administrations have shot themselves in the foot time and time again, and they've walked back on promises that they've made. The Obama administration famously never pulled out troops from Afghanistan, right? It took Donald Trump to do that. And you can go bit by bit. I'm not trying to like both sides of it, but I feel like there's this like hyper-criticism, of course, he's the president, but there's this like hyper-criticism on...
I think there's this mental pitfall that a lot of people fall into, where it's like they see a lot of criticism directed at Trump that is, I guess, seemingly disproportionate, and there's like this mental shortcut that people make that, oh, if everybody is hating on this person or everybody's like beating up on this person, it must be unfair, it must be disproportionate. I'm going to try to push back against that in order to quote unquote be a critical thinker. But the issue is that if someone is uniquely bad, then they are going to uniquely receive a lot of criticism for that, and that's fair. The reality is that Trump is uniquely bad person. He is uniquely bad in a variety of different ways. And so the criticism that's directed at him will seem disproportionate, but that's you have to consider the possibility, which I think a lot of these young kind of hipster guys don't really consider. Consider the possibility, crazy idea, consider the possibility that he receives a lot of backlash and a lot of criticism because he's actually a big liar, and like he is actually fomenting a lot of issues within the government and the public and everything. It's possible that those criticisms are warranted. Don't just assume, oh, everybody's attacking this person, therefore this person must be good. That's a silly way of looking at things. I know it makes you think that you are bucking the rest of the world, and so it's like you against the world, and you're going to be some like heroic martyr who spoke truth to the rest of the world. Sometimes you're just siding against the rest of the world to be contrarian. You're not doing it because it's actually a good reason to do so.
I'm like, oh, Trump messed up. Trump shot himself in the foot. Well, at the same time, and I do strongly believe this, I think he's one.
There's a really good quote I want to read to you guys. Okay. So the object of opening the mind, right? Because people have this idea to be open-minded. You should be open-minded. But the object of open-mindedness, the object of opening the mind as of opening your mouth, is to shut it again on something solid. In other words, you should have your mind open so that you can receive information, so that you can consider it. But the purpose of that is not just for you to be like a vacuum, like a droid, like a blank slate, or a mindless thing that you're just repeating. Ideas come in and then you just shoot them back out. The whole idea is that you open your mind up to then, like a mouth, consume things that are solid, things that make sense, things that are worth, absorbing into your system. You should keep your mind open, but that doesn't mean that you let everything that gets in influence you and convince you.
One of the most democratic presidents we've had, solely off of the fact that when he got elected...
That's the issue with contrarianism and thinking like, oh, actually, Donald Trump might actually be good or bad is actually good, or it's 5D chess, is that you are convincing yourself of nonsense because you're trying to be so open-minded that you're not closing it around things that are solid. You're closing it around things that are nonsense. Because you're like trying too hard to be like, oh, I'm not like all these other people who think this thing. Just because an idea is popular doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because a lot of people are against someone doesn't mean that they're wrong about that either. You should consider that maybe they have a really good point. Maybe there's a really good reason. So I got this gun versus this one. This one has 168. This one, 302. The range is higher. About half the rounds. does it tell you? It doesn't really tell you how, like how often that gun shoots. I'm gonna go with this one though, I think. And Cannon Tortoise already has pretty good, like has a long range and has a missile pod, so I think we're good there.
Elected, most of the positions and stuff that he backed his base on, he tried to do, right?
Sure,
So,
but I think one
let's
issue
go!
I have is when people talk about failures of Trump, we switch to a passive voice, or we speak of things as though they never could have been otherwise. Like you just said, some things have happened under Trump that were unfortunate, or the fact that his audience was poisoned against vaccines was unfortunate. It wasn't unfortunate. That was Trump's fault. Like it wasn't that these things just happened to happen under Trump. It was his poor leadership that directly caused these things to happen. And a lot of the talk around COVID and around vaccines, that was just his fault. That was bad leadership.
I'm not sure if I would agree with that, mainly because the fact that, if I remember correctly, the first thing that came out when there was talk about speed running the FDA's administration processes and everything was the fact that Donald Trump's administration and the Democrats in response were saying that, well, we shouldn't take the Trump vaccine, right? I'm trying to remember the specific elected representatives, and
well,
yes,
so I think the
like,
specific statements where you could argue that they weren't the most responsible statements, something like, I wouldn't trust what Trump says, I would have to see what the FDA says or something, right? Which were statements that were said, but Democrats ended up taking it and Republicans didn't.
But this is the thing, right? So if the Democratic administration can make claims or statements on certain positions on the vaccine, and then when they actually wind up, then the public hears it, and the Democratic administration's public doesn't actually follow.
Dustin made a really good point, which is that when we talk about or sometimes when MAGA talks about the bad things that Trump did, they do it in like a passive voice, or what they'll do is they go, oh, both sides, everybody does it, you know, it's just the name of the game kind of thing. So they're doing like this kind of hypocritical, unfair thing, is that whenever there's like a criticism of the right or of Trump, it's like an inevitability, it's just kind of the environment we all exist in and they can't help it. It's just, it's like a lack of, there's a lack of like accountability, a lack of responsibility, a lack of agency given to the right for issues, for mistakes, for criticisms. But then when they're giving them praise, it is Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump was amazing. I mean, the great example is the economy. On the right, they give Trump all this credit for the economy. The reality is that the economy, and you can look at economic trends, the economy was doing great at the tail end of the Obama administration. It continued to do pretty well during the Trump administration, but the weird thing is that Trump supporters will give credit to Donald Trump, like the economy was a disaster, and then he came in, and then because of what he did, the economy suddenly was the greatest economy in the history of mankind. When the economic forces were kind of just carrying over, and they were larger than probably his presidency. And they usually don't even refer to specific policy. They might mention the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, I think it was called, right? But they won't actually get into like what particular parts of that caused growth. They won't point to any stats or anything. They'll just say it in a vague way. But there is the double standard there. It's when Republicans and Trump are at fault, it's, oh, it's unfortunate. Oh, everybody does it. Oh, both sides do it. Oh, you can't help it. Oh, that's just the way the game plays. And then when it is a positive thing, even when you can't give like, you can't really link actual like things that they did to the positive things that they're pointing at, right? Even if it's like, okay, is Donald Trump actually responsible for that, or you just give him credit for it? But the whole point is that they give them a lot of authority, a lot of credit, even credit that they don't deserve, agency that they don't have, authority that they don't have over things, to say, hey, the economy was doing the greatest of all time because of Donald Trump personally, right? Okay, what's going on? I'm not able to play with both parties, or both characters. Okay, I'm assuming A and B is me, right? Oh, D is my partner. So what happened? Did they get taken out by the Triceratops, like early on in the match, or what?
Through on what their representatives say, then I don't know how much you can actually fault Trump for his own supporters letting themselves die and not taking the vaccine.
Well, I think the issue is that it's a false equivalence to say that Democrats signaled.
I mean, it's silly to say this when you know that Donald Trump and the Republican Party were putting out a lot of vaccine rhetoric at that time period, right? So to pretend like Donald Trump doesn't have any responsibility there, any culpability is, I think, is incredibly convenient. Jeez, this guy's screwing, like, messing me up. Damn. Okay. I think I have my strategy for this match. It's to get behind the Triceratops, hit him on the floor, and then keep him down there. The issue is that my left control stick is kind of out of whack.
The vaccine, as
So
far
I'm
as
gonna
Trump
calibrate
and the
that.
Republicans signaled against everything COVID-related. Like, there were a couple of statements that Democrat lawmakers probably shouldn't have made with regards to the vaccine.
But that
But
kind of
they were bordering on irresponsible, maybe. But like Trump,
You don't know what you're supposed to do, and somehow it all just comes together. And then you don't know why you wouldn't have known it in the first place. By studying geometry, we can think about our first principles, think about our underlying assumptions, and think about how we use reasoning skills and logic skills to put those arguments together. Geometry itself is a way to think about those underlying assumptions, and from those assumptions, just build up this huge body of knowledge. And I don't think people understand that big picture of how all of this fits together, and how it has to be the way that it is.
What are we watching, bro? What the fuck is
when
this?
COVID first came here, right, people don't like Fauci because they said one of many things now. They say he lied about masks early on. Donald Trump lied about how much COVID was here for like over a week. He said there's just probably one case, there's maybe 10 cases, there's maybe 100 cases, when there were tens of thousands of infected people in New York City. Like,
well, I mean, I feel like there's been an issue here because you're kind of conflating the response that Trump had with the like distribution of the vaccine and everything, and what his fellow Republicans said about the vaccine, versus the fact that like there's only so much you can do when your own base kind of runs with different things. Trump was never in opposition to the vaccine. He made it. He even, proudly proclaimed at many different, events he went to that he proudly got the jab and stuff. So while Trump isn't like inherently against the vaccine, he did critique elements of the administration and the CDC, like Fauci, like other representatives. So while there is like gridlock there, I don't think just because there's gridlock that all of a sudden magically your base just kind of caters or something. I don't think like
do
it's
you think
right.
Donald Trump constantly undermining and attacking the government is what led to Republicans not trusting the government?
No, I actually don't think that's the case, because while Donald Trump has attacked the government, he's attacked like specific sectors. Like you
Well,
can
it's
obviously,
it's like every sector that doesn't agree with him, basically, right? Like
Well-
he attacked the Federal Reserve when they wouldn't lower interest rates for him. He attacked Fauci and everything. And the
yeah, but plenty of presidents complain about the administration not working the way they want to. That's the whole point. We've had this as a thing all the way back from like Theodore Roosevelt, right, with the bully pulpit. This is something that presidential
I don't think
nominates
the
a candidate.
bully pulpit is supposed to be, I believe, to other lawmakers in contested districts, not to your own cabinet. Right? You can always fire and rehire.
It definitely has been to your own cabinet, though. You can definitely use it. It's a tool that the president has as being the voice of the people that elected him to apply pressure to the.
Okay, so how are you going to say that he had the bully pulpit while at the same time not giving him any kind of accountability for how his rhetoric would shape the nation,
You're not going anywhere. Go if you can.
Oh my god!
You're not going anywhere.
Where the hell's my partner at?
You're not unlucky.
God damn! I'm getting fucked up. I need to learn how to dodge, I think.
The constituents around him and the people and the lawmakers. So I feel like trying to like hinge a point on like, well, like, the whole Republican Party went like tits up about the vaccine. Like, yeah, that did happen, and I'm not in agreement with it, to be honest with you. I got both jabs, and, I'm like fully vaccinated. My friends look at me like I'm crazy. They think I'm going to be sterilized or something. But despite that, like, I still went through the process of getting the vaccine. Like, I feel like there's this weird conflation here where it's like,
And where did your friends all get that idea from, though? Right? It's like a lack of self-awareness of the people he surrounds himself with. Where did they get that idea from? That idea didn't just happen to them. They got it from people like Trump, people in the MAGA base.
Donald Trump never took out any outright statements against the vaccine, and then you saying that because of the fact that he critiqued the government, that all of a sudden that all Republicans threw out the baby with the bathwater. I just don't think
Well, to be
that's
clear,
like
he didn't
fundamentally
just
true.
critique the government. He's made several claims that huge swaths of the government were working in a malicious manner to undermine him and his administration for the entirety of his government and the next government, and sometimes I guess not his current government, depending on who he's talking about.
Oh, I got him.
Imagine being able to build anything, for any reason, in any style,
Okay, I got rid of one of them.
scale.
That Triceratops hits hard though.
Meet Base 44.
I think that's a weapon binder weapon.
Made for anyone with an idea.
Okay, I need to get my partner in on this.
Describe what you want.
So at the very least he has another target to hit, and then also so he can
customize,
team up.
expand
Is my
in
partner
any
even
direction.
shooting at anything?
From tools built
My
for
partner AI is terrible.
platforms ready for many.
Who's he
From
shooting at?
passion
Who are you?
projects to enterprise
Bro,
grade
who are you
systems.
attacking? There's no one
Everything
there.
is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it?
Oh my god.
Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Oh no! Oh damn. Alright, I was close. I was close. The issue is
Well, the
my
economy's struggling,
my
right?
teammate
And
can't do
of course,
anything.
I'm not saying I'm pro or against.
I would say
lockdowns
that it's just
happen,
that
but,
the AI is
when
bad, but
economy's,
the
like,
enemy AI
struggling
is pretty
and
decent,
you
so what
see,
the hell?
A political moment to hinder your economy even more and make the current administration look even bad by further locking down, right? By further enforcing job mandates, by further enforcing like, oh, it does kind of strike me in some way that, while yes, you can say that the Democrats are trying to adjust and fix, and do a proper response to Trump's administration, at the end of the day, they still hurt the economy very heavily, and they hurt a lot of people by doing those.
So there's this weird thing that these people do that I think the economy is the only consideration here, or that the economy is the most important thing. There's also this issue with this mentality that they make is that they think that the economy would have been better if we did nothing with COVID. Well, if we did nothing with COVID, what they're not seeing is they're not seeing the basically like the alternative hypothesis, the counterfactual scenario that they would have facilitated, which is that more of the population gets sick, the virus mutates faster than it was before. We overload our hospitals more than we were before. You have more people calling into work. You have more disruptions to the economy because of not only people being out of work, getting sick, the mutation of the virus, right? The most effective way to deal with the virus would have been, and they don't understand this, they don't see this, would have been for us to do a full lockdown for like 2 or 3 weeks, a month maybe. You shut down the border, okay? You shut down the economy for a few weeks. You pay Americans to stay home. We did that anyways, but actually do it. That sorry, this is my Cheeto. Went to the back of my throat. Hot Cheetos. What you're doing there is you're stopping the spread of the virus. You're isolating where it's at. Where it entered into the country. You're shutting down the country, finding where it is, shutting down the spread of it before it can spread and mutate within the economy, and then you can open things back up again. If there is no virus in the country to spread, you can open back up and we can go to a full economy. So this issue that he has, apparently with the shutdown of the economy, is short-sighted, and it's too simplistic a way of thinking. The other issue with this talking point is that Donald Trump sent every adult American a check with his name signed on it. Donald Trump very proudly paid Americans to stay home. Donald Trump was part of this policy, so was the Republican Party. The Republican Party now wants to wash their hands clean of it and say we were always against any kind of lockdown, any kind of mandates, any kind of giving Americans money in order for them to stay home. When the Republicans were actually, I think they were in charge of at least one of the chambers of the government at that time period. So 2019, actually it'd be 2020 Congress. This was from 2019 to 2021. So Republicans were in charge of the Senate at this time period. They had the ability to block this legislation. They had the ability to to not participate in it, to not bring it forward, to not have a role in it. But the reality is that you have to have legislation pass both chambers of Congress in order for it to go into law. It passed both chambers, meaning the majority in the Senate that were Republicans voted for it. And then the president, Donald Trump, signed it into law. And in fact, there was two COVID stimuluses. There might have been three. I don't remember. I think there was two before, well, while Donald Trump was in office, and I think there was a third when Biden took over office. But that means that not only did the Republicans want to shut down the government once, they wanted to shut it down twice, and they wanted to pay people to do it, and they put COVID stimulus to businesses, to individuals, right? The Republican Congress and the president not vetoed it, but he signed it into law. They all participated in it. All these issues that he thinks he has with the economy, even though I don't agree with the premise, the reality is even if I grant him the premise, the Republicans were also responsible for that. Donald Trump was also responsible for that. But he wants to have it both ways.
Those lockdowns
Well,
and
when we say, didn't COVID hurt the economy? I mean, if the lockdowns and everything are a response to a worldwide pandemic, I mean, is it fair to blame the people who locked down on that? Like,
I mean, there are plenty of countries that decided not to. Like I was saying, the lockdown question as a whole is a very difficult thing. I think most people would agree with that here.
sure.
That's not
So I
really-
would say most countries did do versions of lockdowns, right?
Yeah, to some degree in differing levels. I
Yeah.
won't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is, like,
Well,
when
because your last statement made it sound like Democrats did lockdowns intentionally just to hurt the economy with the hopes that it would damage Trump.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and it did feel like that to some extent. I feel like it
I
would
guess
be.
the issue I have is that, like, when there's evidence of Trump lying or scheming or doing things, it seems like we always say, like, well, we can't read Trump's mind, but there's no evidence ever.
Oh.
There's no evidence of Democrats intentionally shutting down
Yeah.
states in order to intentionally damage their economy, which also doesn't make sense because, like, places like New Zealand and Australia hardcore shut down their stuff. Were they just trying to destroy their whole economies intentionally, or did Democrats just happen to do the exact same actions in their states that other countries were doing?
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like you highlight a really important point about intentionality, and
Ah.
it's so weird that you went about it with the
controller
notion
inputs
that,
are, like,
a lot of people
wonky.
assume you
They're
can't
not
read
working
Trump's
properly.
mind,
It's
but you're
annoying the hell
assuming
out of
that I can't try to participate in the understanding of what Democratic lawmakers are thinking at the time. And from a simple political perspective, it's beneficial for your side to exploit a catastrophe that's happening under the.
And listen to this. This is just like, you already have it in your mind. This is motivated reasoning. You don't like the Democrats. You think the Republicans are, like, vindicated and they're unfairly treated. But look how unfairly you're treating the Democrats. You're just making up shit. Oh, I wouldn't put it past the political party to exploit a tragedy. Well, how do you know the Republicans weren't exploiting the tragedy? By making a billion different conspiracies about the tragedy, right? There's so much more evidence that the Republicans were exploiting the tragedy. They were making up constant conspiracies about it. They made conspiracies about the origins. They made conspiracies about the vaccines. They made conspiracies about the government, efforts, about masks, about everything, about Fauci, about everything. When you talk about exploitation of a crisis to do something, it was the Republicans. And they did it all right in front of your face. And they lied to this kid and all the supporters over everything, right? This kid knows that these lies that his friends believe about the vaccine, causing him to go sterile are lies. The Republican Party spread that. They exploited that tragedy to spread that. But he doesn't give him accountability for that. Meanwhile, he doesn't have any evidence that the Democrats were exploiting the tragedy for some kind of political end. He just believes, he just has a feeling that they did, and so he just makes it up in his mind, absent evidence that that's the case.
The administration you don't like.
This is bias. This is 150% bias, and it needs to be called out, and people like him need to recognize, hey bro, you're engaging in bias here. You're making up shit because you already have a predetermination that the Democrats are bad and the Republicans are good. All of the roads point to the Republicans weaponizing and exploiting the tragedy. Meanwhile, you don't have evidence of the Democrats doing this, but you have in your mind that they are because you already think that they're bad and you're making it up as you go along. You're just creating a narrative to fit that preconceived conclusion. And who gave you that conclusion? The Republicans, who have been exploiting everything else to give you that conclusion, give you that idea in your head.
Right? Well, I'm not saying that Democrats crippled and horrifyingly destroyed the economy. At the end of the day, you can't acknowledge that, like, lockdowns had a negative impact on the economy, and they did cater.
They did, but we all knew that, and there was a reason for that. It's not like we did that for no reason. It's not like we didn't think that was going to happen. We knew that it was going to affect the economy. The question was a question of trade-offs. Was a question of, given a situation that sucks, what is the best thing that we can do with the situation that we have? Also, with limited information. I mean, they're doing kind of like a like Sunday night, or what is it, Monday night quarterbacking after the fact. The reality is, at the time, we didn't know, you know, how much the virus was going to mutate. We didn't know how badly it was going to affect people. We didn't actually even know the full extent of the properties of the virus at that time period. People forget this. We didn't really know that. We didn't know how bad the virus was going to be. We didn't know what it would mutate into. We didn't know how infectious it was going to be. We didn't know how deadly it was going to be. We didn't know how much it was going to impact the economy or the workers or the population. I mean, one thing that people don't talk about is something called long COVID. People that got COVID, there's a variety of really bad symptoms associated with long COVID that no one talks about. So imagine if we just let it spread with wild abandon throughout our entire population. Long COVID, it has an effect on people's brains, like literally. Long COVID brain fog is a cognitive impairment characterized by difficulty with memory, concentration, mental clarity, persistence after an initial COVID-19 infection. It is considered a long COVID system if it's present 3 months after the initial infection has lasted for more than 2 months. This is a thing, right? And they act like this wouldn't have an effect on the economy, having a population, the entire population with cognitive impairment, characterized by memory issues, concentration issues, mental clarity issues, right? The trade-offs, you're not thinking about them, because the entire narrative that the right feeds this guy is that the only thing that mattered and the only thing that characterizes the whole thing is the effect it had on the economy, absent any context. I thought there was more about this, associated with severe cognitive slowing. Oh, I think there was another study that came out recently that said that long COVID was also associated with like advanced brain aging. In other words, those who caught COVID, their brain aged faster than the average person. That's crazy, and no one talks about this. They talk nonstop about myocarditis, which is a temporary, like, acute symptoms that go, like, they last while you have the infection and then they go away, or they last while your body is simulating the infection with a vaccine and then they go away. This is long term. This is potentially permanent damage to your brain. It's crazy. We observed 48% of patients with long COVID had episodic memory deficit, with 27% with impaired overall cognitive function. You don't think that's going to have an effect on the economy? The reason he doesn't know, think this has an effect on the economy is because he doesn't even know about this. The circles he runs in, the right wing that exploited this strategy, don't talk about this. They talk about only myocarditis, which is temporary minor symptoms, because they are exploiting the tragedy for political gain.
To what Democrats wanted, which is a negative demonstration of Trump's effect on the American economy, right?
No.
And this mindset too that Democrats are all motivated just by politics, it's something that they've told themselves is like a platitude for years and years and years, that they believe it's true. The reality is that most Democrats do not think this way. They try to think about what's best for the society. And it's almost like your political party thinks that way, and so you have this belief system that the other party must also function this way. I don't think my missiles will reach him spinning around like that. Ah! Ah, I can't dodge. Damn it. Alright, I was close.
Why not?
Well, they could have just locked down because they thought that was the best path forward, because they kept their people safer, and that's what people...
Yeah, it's the thing about this whole idea about the Democrats is they're just coming up with reasons why they think the Democrats are bad, and it's the Democrats have a perfectly rational reason why they decided they wanted to do the things they did. It's very clear. The on the surface explanation is very simple. Hey, look, it's a pandemic. It mutates. It could kill a bunch of people. We don't know a whole lot about it yet, right? And we want to stop the spread so that we can get a handle on it. Why does your mind have to go to Democrats are involved in some kind of conspiracy for political aim and everything? Because so many of your priors, so many of the things that they've already spun about the Democrats in your mind has already biased you against them.
around the world are doing, right?
Right, which I agree with, but what I'm saying is, like, you're stripping my right to be able to interpret the, like, minds of Democrats when I never said I was stripping the right of being
No one stripped your right to do anything. He's just challenging that assumption that you're making.
able to interpret, like, the minds of.
You can think whatever you
Donald
want,
Trump.
but bro,
For
like,
example, he just bombed Iran the other day, right?
Well, but I don't have to guess Donald Trump's mind state. Thank God, I can just look at his social media and I know what he's thinking at literally all points in time. I guess my issue is that, like, if I were to say Donald Trump is doing the tariffs just to destroy the world economy, would you say that's a fair read?
I mean, to some degree, yeah, that is, because of the fact that
Shouldn't we, like, rely on reporting, on what people are saying around the person, what the person himself is saying?
oh my god,
Like,
dodge,
there's no
dodge!
evidence that Democrats, like, for instance, other countries that shut down, were they shutting down?
Yeah, I know,
just
like,
because
this
they
is
wanted
another
to
thing
destroy
too,
their own
right?
economies?
no, but
So
I'm
then if
saying in
Democrats
the
are shutting down states and other countries are shutting down, wouldn't it be more reasonable to assume that they were probably doing it out of fear of, like, the pandemic rather than
Oh, no.
trying to intentionally tank
Dodge,
the economy?
dodge!
So what I feel like, okay, what I'm trying to
Got
do is
him.
I'm not trying to intentionally say that this was like their main goal. They were
I mean,
like,
you
oh,
are
yeah, lockdown
intentionally
will screw
saying
up
that.
the entire American economy. This is awesome. What I'm saying though is that that it just kind of happened to line up with the fact that they wanted to make the administration look bad.
I mean,
And
whose fault
I
is
feel
that
like
though?
lockdowns did help do that, because when Trump's main position and the main thing he's campaigning on is how
But how does, I mean, that doesn't even make sense, because they don't blame Donald Trump for the lockdowns, they blame Democrats for the lockdowns, right? And the reality is that Democrats were out in the open saying that they wanted lockdowns. So the idea that Democrats were trying to do it as a way of blaming Trump for it just doesn't even make sense. Like, that's not even the effect that happened. Not to mention, Democrats weren't trying to be like, oh, Donald Trump wants to lock down the economy, it's bad, right? Democrats outwardly said, hey, we're the ones advocating for this. So why are you going to invent like a conspiracy? The conspiracy doesn't even make any sense. But, like, why do you even need to make the conspiracy? They told you why, and the explanation is actually that they wanted to do it. They wanted the lockdowns.
how strong and how well the economy is, and then Democrats lock down the economy, it's going to make him look worse. And I feel like you can't ignore that. Listen, sometimes politics can line up with intentions, right? So, like, just because
I mean,
a negative thing is happening.
That's a way different statement to say that it happened to be politically advantageous versus they wanted that to be the case, right?
Okay, so I guess I misused my words a little bit here. So wanted, right? So I did. When I said wanted, I mean that they were encouraged to do the lockdowns because of the fact that would be politically disadvantageous to the current administration.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, this is Dope Tech from Wix. Now this whole flow is a conversation, so your words actually build your website. I'm going for a story. And after a free-flowing conversation, I get this detailed site brief. And just like that, my first draft is ready.
Oh my god,
Now
I'm
that's
surprised I
dope.
hit him that time.
Next, you can really get in there and style it your
Oh
way.
no!
Here's the fun part. You can regenerate this whole thing over and over.
Damn
Or you
it.
can tweak something specific, like your layout.
I need to get like
Describe
armor for
what I had in
my
mind.
guy.
Yeah, that's fire. If there was
Shut up! Fuck
I
out of
still
here.
feel like, while it might be a benefit, when I lived in Nebraska, we had snow days sometimes. Nobody would have accused
We had snow
me of,
days
like,
here too.
causing the snow to fall because I wanted a snow day, and it would actually benefit me a lot, right? Like, if there's a whole reason, there's a whole set of explanations for why it's snowing, I would probably go with all of those. And I see it snows in other states where there aren't even kids that go to school, right? So it probably snows because of the weather. If I look at why economies are being locked down, like Canada locked down a ton, they had protests over it. New Zealand, Australia were huge lockdown economies. All of Europe did lockdowns. Even all of the Republican states, to some extent, everybody did like some kind of lockdown. Like, it feels like if we think the Democrats are snowflakes and babies about diseases and stuff more than Republicans, which I think most Republicans would say that anyway, it seems like it would logically follow that they would also lock down the economy a bit more, not just to hurt Trump, but because they feel like that was the right thing to do. And then again, on the flip side, like, draw another example. So, for instance, like, when we had an immigration bill that would have passed in the last year of Biden's term, Donald Trump explicitly came out and he explicitly said, I don't want that bill to pass because I need to keep the border open because this is an election issue for me.
Yeah,
but,
I've
like,
heard
people
you-
will say, like,
What is his response to this going to be? Is it going to be that go-to, which is when the Republicans do something wrong? Oh, but everybody does it, right? Is he going to go for that? Let's see. I'm curious.
well, that doesn't count, but, like, that is a clear line of
Yeah,
of thought.
so I want to. I wouldn't say. I've heard you bring up this point many times about
Sure.
the immigration bill, but I feel like something that you fail to kind of talk about with it is the
God
fact
damn, he
that
reached me
when
already?
it comes to, like, an immigration bill like that, you're giving a one-up to the other side, right? So if there's issues of immigration, right, and we pass a bill that only is like a half measure, right? While it would have addressed some of the issues of immigration, it wouldn't have addressed Trump's main voter base with immigration. You can't really cater to that because let's say Biden and the bipartisan Republicans agreed to pass the immigration reform bill. Well, what winds up happening then is Biden runs on that bill. He says, look, we fixed.
So, like, listen to what this kid's saying. This kid's admitting that the Republicans killed that bill out of politics. Meanwhile, he has in his mind that Democrats are the ones who manipulate politics and manipulate public sentiment in order to push their politics and everything. In a way, in a roundabout way, he is making the point that I made, which is that, oh, everybody does it, right? So he's trying to make the case that, like, oh, the Democrats are trying to manipulate politics using this bill. Meanwhile, he's using it in justification for why the Republicans were justified in manipulating politics there to kill the bill. That, oh, they couldn't allow the Democrats to get a win, so that's why they killed the bill. So the funny thing is, Republicans have trained him to think that because everybody does this kind of political chicanery, that it's okay when the Republicans do it, even though, meanwhile, he's blaming the Democrats. He's mad at the Democrats for when he thinks they're doing it. Right? It's an issue when he thinks the Democrats are doing it, which he just thinks that they are, just by virtue of existing. Meanwhile, you could point out that the Republicans explicitly were manipulating politics, and then he's like, his response is basically that, well, okay, everybody does it. Both sides do it. The Democrats were going to do it anyways.
Immigration, right? And you're basically catering to the other side. But like you have to acknowledge that that's like a huge political tool.
But like,
You know
isn't
what I
that
mean?
kind of the goal of governing? Don't we want to like do things that are good for the country and make people happy and healthy and?
Yeah, but there's a difficulty because you're giving your opposition ammunition to win the election. So something I've heard you time and time again say is the fact that Donald Trump, the Republicans are purposely leaving open the border so that they can run on that issue.
To be clear,
which I
Trump
say-
said that, yeah.
Yeah, to which I say, of course they are. It's politics. This is what politics is. People purposely leave issues.
What did I
to be
tell
able
you?
to win votes.
What did I tell you? When the Republicans are responsible for it, it's, oh, everybody does it, or that's just the environment, or that's just the name of the game. But notice that he doesn't use the same argument to defend when he thinks Democrats are doing it. When he thinks Democrats are doing it, it's a bad thing, and this is why he votes against them, right? Because at the end of the day, he's not as neutral as he's trying to make himself out to be, and he may not even realize this. He's applying a double standard for the right and for the left because he supports the right despite saying that, oh, they're manipulating politics. Meanwhile, he doesn't support the Democrats, and he thinks it's an issue, and he thinks they're nefarious and bad because they're doing the same thing. That's essentially, when you strip away everything, that's what he's saying, but that doesn't really, like, there's hypocrisy, there's a double standard there that he's not even really realizing he's engaging in.
Win elections. Democrats do it with gun control. There's like on and on, but
I feel like that's a race to the bottom then. Like, it seems like at that point you're just, like, every side is going to be endlessly sabotaging the other side, and then the country's just going to explode, and like, there's going to be nukes coming, and the people are going to be like, well, if we survive the nukes, then midterms are going to be really good for us, like in a year or two. I don't know, it just seems like not a great approach to things, but...
You need to tweak an asset without messing everything up. Luckily, there's Adobe Express. Create assets that fit in with your entire campaign, so you can make what you need when you need it. Now, you can move faster while staying on brand.
Oh man, how annoying.
You can have the last word, go for it.
yeah, I mean, overall, I think a really important thing to highlight is my main point there about
The issue
mindset of Trump and the way he does things.
is that
It
the
wasn't
controller
really that I was arguing that everyone
calibration
should be racing to the bottom and completely.
It's like it has a
ignoring
weird
whatever
refresh rate or
whatever
something.
benefits America just to aid their side. But when you're in a re-election season, I think it's really important to not mischaracterize the way people run in politics. And I feel like when you heavily say things like, you know, Donald Trump does this and that, and like he's purposely not trying to pass the bill, he doesn't really care about immigration, doesn't really care about these issues, it's tough to argue that when we're in campaign season and people need votes to win. And that's a hard-button issue, and I feel like it's not quite fair that you take that route. But
Okay, well, can I
What do you
ask one
mean? How is it
quick
not
question
fair? I
first?
mean, you
Yeah.
apply the same
You-
standard against the Democrats.
Will you not feel great about the statement? I don't say you'll admit you're wrong or whatever, but like, will you feel bad about the border thing in the bill if Donald Trump goes all 4 years and we don't get a single piece of legislation on the border? Or do you think it was worth it still?
Well, see, the issue of the border is I'm a neocon Republican.
Okay.
So I strongly believe that immigration isn't actually the worst thing in the world. But I'm also very pro-war on a lot of issues and stuff. So like the bombing Iran supported. So like it's tough for me to address the immigration thing because I know a lot of his base cares very heavily about that issue. But I'm kind of a bit more on the fence. I'm just mainly arguing on the notion that I think it's rough to argue that, oh, Republicans are doing this. You know what I mean? When-
Okay, all right, just curious.
I mean, how is
Thanks
it
for
rough
the
to argue? I
conversation.
mean,
Yeah.
you're not arguing against it. You're saying they are. You just think it's a good thing.
We're only 30 minutes in and we already activated the first trap, so okay. All right.
I'm gonna use
Swear
my
to
phones
God,
for no,
please let me
phone for
beat
notes.
this
Yeah, no
battle.
problem. All right. So recently, Trump had a meeting with the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa. He brought up the issues being faced by white people in South Africa. You reviewed this meeting. You were very critical of it. While I will acknowledge that Trump did say things during the meeting that were untrue, and that white genocide is hyperbolic and untrue, it was still a good thing that Trump brought up the topic of the struggles of white people in South Africa wanting to seek refuge in America because they do have valid concerns. So I have
Do they?
three
I really don't know.
arguments. The first one has to do
It's
with
just
the
based
party
on
called the EFF, the Economic
what
Freedom
Trump and
Fighters.
Elon were doing.
just a quick
It's
thing.
hard to tell if there's anything actually there, or if it's just a bunch of lies. Oh, hell yeah. Kind of getting him in this round. I'm feeling good about this round. Oh no! I spoke too soon. Bro! My controller! It's like my, God damn it! My left stick gets stuck and then I'm running around in a
Pretty
circle.
much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches.
I don't care.
The big issue I'm going to have with this isn't going to come down to the particular arguments relating to what white people in South Africa might face. I think my big criticism for that meeting, and the thing that I feel like is going to undermine the arguments you have, is that if it was the fact that white people in South Africa were facing a threat related to racial stuff, related to maybe white genocide is hyperbolic, but whatever, I would argue that the way that Donald Trump approached that meeting just guarantees that this issue will never be taken seriously, and that whatever opportunity he had to take it a little bit seriously was completely ejected when he sat there like he was looking at brain rot memes for 20 minutes with the South African president like awkwardly looking back and forth between them.
Okay, I don't agree. I mean, I understand what you're saying, that the way Trump does things is a lot of times it's awkward and goofy and people really don't like it.
Wait,
but,
hold on.
No.
I wouldn't say awkward and goofy.
Oh, sure,
That's
sure.
how I would describe like hiring.
See how like it's that same thing. They're giving like the passive voice.
It's unprofessional. It's lacking leadership. I would say it's detrimental to U.S.
Donald
domestic
Trump and
foreign
Elon
interests.
lied in that
And I
meeting.
think it's deeply embarrassing
They
for
spread
around the
false
world.
information.
It's like really
They
bad,
shared a
like
fake
that.
video. Like the video wasn't fake, but it was from a
for
different
this-
country.
For this
So to say that it was like, oh, it's just a mistake or they're kind of silly. No, they lied.
They have genuine concerns, and it was a good thing that he brought attention to.
Are
it
the
in way that he
concerns
did.
genuine? Because what they produced was not even real. It wasn't even from that country. So how is it genuine?
Conversation about it. And while he said some things were untrue, some of
Starting a conversation doesn't really mean anything if the conversation that you're starting is bullshit. Okay, it's not helpful to us. You can start a conversation over anything, but if that whole conversation is a bunch of bullshit, you're wasting everybody's time and you're misleading people, or you're manipulating people, you're getting riled up about stuff that doesn't may not even be real, doesn't even matter, right? So the idea that at least they're starting a conversation, that's starting a fake conversation, they're distracting us away from real issues, making us wrapped up in this nonsense.
the things were true in that, like you talked about the white crosses. Those weren't grave sites, but they were a protest against farm murders, which is a real problem there.
Is it?
And he did show, like, my first main point is the video he showed of the people, it's the economic freedom fighters. It's a political party that they routinely chant, kill the Boer, which is white South Africans, kill the farmer. They've done this for years, and they've done it as recently as last month. They make up about 10% of the voting bloc. And like, if there was an American party that routinely chanted "kill race whatever," we wouldn't be okay with that and just brush it aside as a non-issue. So
I mean, I won't make any parallels to MAGA right now, because that would be mean. But I guess the issue, I mean, we invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans under the guise that we're at war with a country because of a gang that exists there. That's kind of crazy, I think, right?
Deportation is not the same as chanting for the murder of people.
That's true. I would argue deporting somebody to like an actual like hostile prison is worse than just a chant. Like, if we did do that, like we started to deport people to El Salvador. I think that's really bad, right? Like, but
we don't talk about it enough, but sending people over there is
I'm gonna
basically a
reiterate
death
this point.
sentence.
What you just brought up, I don't
Where
know
he
anything
sends
about
people
that.
to torture and
I
death
might
in
have,
another
though,
country.
Trump would have used that
Not even their
meeting as an
country,
opportunity
by the
to
way.
actually bring that up and actually address it, rather than
That's not a small
showing what
thing.
seemed
That's
to
a
be like an actual
big,
Twitter
crazy
highlights
thing.
compilation.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life.
Bro, my teammate, completely useless. Come on, get in the battle.
You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction.
If I'm gonna get hit, you're gonna get some of this too.
Platforms ready for meta, from passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch.
Good.
It's a new
Now,
world
target the
of
real
creation
enemy, please.
Where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Who is he shooting at? There's like nobody. Can you please fire at the enemy, please?
This is what I want.
Oh my god.
You can. First up, let's talk about AI color themes. You can get any combos you want. Bold and bright, minimalist and sleek, or something you didn't even think
Oh my
of.
god, please tell me.
Just describe the vibe you want, or even use the colors of your logo, and let AI do its thing. Beautiful. Next up is the AI section.
Oh my god,
This is
move!
great for those website essentials, like the contact section, or a place to subscribe. Now,
Yeah!
I'm running a sale, so I punch in some details,
Please tell me that's-
and just
holy
like
crap.
that, I have a promo section.
That was way harder than it should have been.
And beautiful.
It's a real video. The video he showed is a real video of a real political. They're the fourth largest political party in South
And
Africa.
you should be mad about this because he knows that this is nonsense, right? The video was not from that country. By now, everybody knows that. For you to keep repeating this shows that you are maliciously manipulative, right? And like, Republicans need to be held to the fire over this kind of stuff. I think they think like this is normal and everybody does this and it's all good and everything. No, you guys are lying to people. You're manipulating people. You need to get called out on that. And this isn't good behavior. It's not normal behavior. You're not doing anybody a favor. You guys are bad people for doing this. Genuinely, you're a bad fucking person. If you are lying that much and that brazenly to manipulate people, you're bad. You're a bad fucking person.
Yeah, I understand, but it's the president
And
of
he
the
showed
United
videos
States.
of farm murders protesting a real issue.
Yes, but
you
wouldn't
can
it
take
have
issue with, okay, there was one photo he showed that was from the Congo, and they weren't technically grave sites, and the guy...
Wouldn't it be better to have like an actual professional conversation about that?
You
Rather
can
than,
always say, how could we have improved the situation? But the point is, he brought attention to the issue. It's a real
know,
issue.
like
Yes, I'm talking about it now with you.
Again, listen to this framing, right? You can always say, oh, they could have done something better or whatever, right? Why doesn't he apply the standard to Democrats? Why don't they apply the standard to Democrats? The reality is that they just kind of let Republicans get off on bad behavior, on lying, on manipulating information. It's genuine, actual propaganda when you are manipulating information to convince people of stuff, especially if you're riling them up, especially if you're fear-mongering them over things. And so that double standard that's implicit, that no one really challenges, that, oh, it's okay when the Republicans do it, but you wouldn't offer this kind of defense for liberals or the left.
It's brought up a nice little
Yeah, but
conversation.
no
There's more
lawmaker-
videos on YouTube about it.
There's,
so
I mean,
it's
people have been
conversation.
talking about this issue for like a decade for South Africa, right?
Yeah, it's been an issue, but I think people are talking about it more now since the meeting.
And also, why does he care about what's going on in South Africa, right? If they don't care about what's happening in these Southern American countries where all these immigrants are fleeing from, why is it that South Africa gets special pass? And you know what the reason behind that is. It's because they're white, and these immigrants that come from brown countries who are fleeing persecution or economic issues and stuff, they're not. And so it's a double standard applied to them again.
Okay, I would be surprised if anything of substance came out with regards to South Africa. It felt to me, I don't know your feeling on it, but it felt to me like it was a big pet project for Elon, and I think he kind of pushed it onto Trump. I don't know if Trump himself cares about it that much.
This one's going to be a hard match. This Liger's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, like I'm sure Elon does. I'm willing to bet that Trump thinks that South Africa just means like the southern part of Africa. He doesn't even know that's a country. That'd be my guess. But I don't see. Do you realistically think in the next few years? Do you think the United States is going to make any headway there in terms of pressuring South Africa or using any kind of soft power or whatever to get them to alleviate whatever issue this is? Or do you think Trump will talk about it a single time for the rest of the 3 years he's in office?
I don't know what he's gonna do, but
but like, isn't that a bad? Isn't that?
What a cop out.
No, I'm making a simple argument.
Sure.
My simple argument is that it was good that he brought it up during the meeting. You can hypothesize about what he's going to do in the future, what he will or will not do. I'm saying it was a good thing that he brought attention to the issue during this meeting. I have a bunch of reasons to say why. I'm dying to say some of them. You just keep saying, I don't like the way he did the meeting. And I acknowledge your issues with the way he did the meeting, but I'm just saying there's real issues here.
I'm sure there are real issues.
We should be talking about it.
But like we can relate this to Iran. I don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. I actually fully support any strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. But having Donald Trump do it, who doesn't have like a cohesive vision or plan for the Middle East, and then having him explain it, worries me that there will be like a chilling effect on that type of conversation, or that any military action that we do in the Middle East is going to be viewed in such a negative lens because of the way that he's approaching it, because of the way he's spoken about it. Like, it sucks, but optics, when you're the leader of a country and people listen to the words you say, I think are really important. And the idea of kind of squandering the opportunity to bring up a really important issue, like, again, you're not even sure if the president would even bring this up again. And I think that's deeply troubling if it's an issue that we care about, you know?
Okay. You need to localize assets without messing everything
That
up.
shield will actually probably help out a lot. The shield will actually damage them if they run into it.
I feel like we're having two different conversations, okay? I'm trying to make one argument, and then you're saying, well, these other things that aren't. Like, do you acknowledge that white people face an issue in South Africa and they may have a legitimate claim to refugee status in America? Or do you still refer to it as like a neo-Nazi conspiracy theory?
Well, I think that I was close friends with some people who believe that were neo-Nazis. I don't know to the extent that there is legitimately white like hunting issue with farmers in South Africa that's based around like repatriation of land that black people feel was stolen from them. That might be a real issue. It might not be. I'm kind of agnostic on it. I lean a little bit on that. I feel like it's a little bit exaggerated by the neo-Nazi people, but I doubt it's.
And that Liger looks big too.
But all I'm saying is, however real that issue is, we're never going to talk about it again in the U.S. because Trump doesn't know anything about it, and the little opportunity.
How do you know that? You're just saying, oh, we're never going to talk about it again. Nothing's ever going to be done. Like, this is,
I'm going
you
by
start.
what
You start with a conversation. You start with bringing it up, and then we'll see what happens. But you can't just dismiss the topic and say, oh, well, Trump's not going to bring it up again, so we don't need to talk about it now. Or
well, I mean, we can talk about it, but if it was an issue that I cared about, I would kill myself if Donald Trump was the first one to bring it up in that manner on stage. I'd be like, fuck, like, it feels like nobody's going to have any investment in this issue now, and you had, like, the leader of South Africa here to talk about it, and now you have completely squandered it, right? Like, I guess I wouldn't compare it maybe to the Zelensky talk, but, like, that's another conversation where it's, like, it's such a bombed convo that regardless of how you felt about it, any opportunity it feels to have any awareness brought on that issue is just completely squandered because of the way that Trump conducts himself.
What the hell? I hit him.
I understand that your conversation...
Oh, he dropped a landmine, that
bastard. I'm not trying to
bastard.
deprive you of the notes that you took.
I got a lot of notes. I'm dying to say some of them.
If you want to, if you want to go through a couple, no, I'm not going to get pushed back again to say any of it. But if you want to go through
I'm
a couple, you
actually
can.
surprised how well I'm doing in this match.
Let me hit
The last
some
one
notes.
was actually
Go
hard
ahead,
for me.
hit a few. Go for it.
It was just a bad matchup.
So the EFF, I think that's a major issue.
Okay.
Economic freedom fighters. You got the farm attacks and farm murders. The government says that they're mostly robbery oriented and that it's not racially motivated, but I think we have reasons to doubt that. Did you watch Lauren's documentary on it?
Yep.
Okay. So when it came to the Blood Sisters and them describing how like a lot of the murders, it's not just like a simple, someone attacking a farmer just to get his property. They're like torturing them to death. Like she gave an example where they took a 12-year-old boy and drowned him in boiling water.
I mean, you got similar things in South America, right? But they don't really have like empathy for
a
lot of American immigrants.
Simple robbery. You watched this. Did you have an opinion on that, or?
I mean, assuming that it's done for racial hatred and assuming like these are ongoing, how many? My understanding is the number of people who've been killed are pretty low when it comes to like farmers for the racial targeting right over the past
From what I know, I think it's an average of 500 attacks and 60 murders a year. So
okay, that's a little higher than what I heard, but that might be closer to accurate.
I could be wrong. That's the number I saw today.
Again, I'm not super.
Oh, damn it!
I
knew he had that mine down there too, and I walked right into it.
Brought up by Trump or somebody.
Okay, could have done all kinds of things. Okay.
So we're not here to debate South Africa and the genocide. We're here to talk about the guy in the fucking poster, okay?
The video was legitimate.
Okay.
In a sense. It was.
In a sense. How dishonest and manipulative.
And somehow it all just comes together. And then you don't know why you wouldn't.
We would never give Democrats this kind of charitability. Oh, Hillary Clinton lied. Oh, but you know what? She just wanted to start a conversation. Obama lied. Oh, but at least it got a conversation going. Chuck Schumer said that he had evidence on Trump and he was going to turn it over. Oh, but there was some truth to it, right? They don't give this charitability to the other side. This is a double standard. They're trying to act like these are rational arguments and debates and everything. The reality is they're just biased for their side, and they're making all kinds of excuses for it.
So, I mean, they also said that the attacks are higher than what the government is saying. But they also said they couldn't go into too much detail because they work closely with the government, which made me think they're telling the truth because they're like, okay, well, what motive would they have to lie about it? But if they're saying, hey, they work with the government, so we kind of have to be careful with what we say or we'll get in trouble, to me that shows they don't have a motive to lie. They would actually have a motive to keep quiet about it. So, and just the way they said it made it seem like they were telling the truth to me, that the number of attacks is actually even higher than what the government's reporting.
We'll give you one more point off your list. Find a good one, yeah?
I have some.
I'm sure.
The example of what happened in Zimbabwe, that was really bad. They took land, oftentimes violently, from white farmers, and it led to economic collapse, starvation, hyperinflation, really bad things. We don't want to repeat of that in South Africa. They're neighboring countries. And then basically the current trajectory of South Africa is not good. They had a good period from 94 when they got rid of apartheid and Mandela was elected. They had a good period of consistent economic growth every year, including a growing black middle class from like 94 to 2008. But then around 2008, everything changed because they didn't invest in their power grid, and President Zuma got elected. He was really corrupt, and the government's been basically really corrupt since then. And so the government has a crumbling infrastructure, stagnating economy, high unemployment, high crime, and this is, I don't want to just focus on white people. This is even worse for the black people.
Sure, okay,
so it's worse for everyone.
Wait, so then why are you only concerned about
give you the last word on this.
White immigrants from there?
If there's an issue that you feel passionately about, if there's an issue that you read into, and it's an issue that you'd like to see improve, I don't understand how you couldn't be so irritated watching Trump just completely waste an entire potential meeting where he has the world.
He brought up the issue, not in the perfect way, but he brought it up. I could be wrong, I never saw Biden bring it up during his presidency. At least he brought it up. Maybe he didn't do it perfectly, but at least he brought it up.
Okay.
So.
Also, notice how, Republicans have gone from, we don't care about other countries, America first. Other countries' issues are their issues. We can't be the world police. But then all of a sudden, you got some white immigrants from South Africa that maybe, possibly, I'm not really sure because they lied about it and they manipulated videos. Maybe you're under attack, so now they care about it. Why? Why the double standard, right?
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet you, Destiny.
Hey, nice to meet you, dude. Nice to meet you, dude.
Hello, hello. Testing.
Off of there.
Is this okay? All right, let me get comfortable. So when I decided to do this bait a week ago, I was gonna take how Trump actually was anti-war, how he didn't want.
I have back-to-back meetings. I can't find my notes, and I haven't had coffee.
Man, I wouldn't want to be you.
Who are you?
I'm you. Future you.
The one who uses
Ah, get
the
fucked,
AI
dude.
meeting agent that live transcribes meetings and creates automated summaries.
Oh no. Does AI take our job?
Nope, just our stress. Frees you up so you could do what you love. Mixology for mocktails. Oh, love those. Hey, what are we prepping for, bud? A planning session for a Q3 marketing campaign. I can't remember the budget. Watch this. What budget did we agree to in the last
Damn it.
meeting? Alex approved $45,000. Oh, okay. But my meeting starts now, and I need caffeine. I feel you. Hey, do your thing, my guy. Otter's got this. Hey, welcome back. Go ahead. Ask the AI chat what you missed. Catch me up. Oh, that's cool. I only have 5 minutes to write a follow-up before my next meeting.
Oh my god, dude,
We're so
shut
cute
up.
when we're anxious.
His voice is so annoying and it's so like hipster
Yeah,
kind of
and you all know what happened last
pretentious.
night.
Shut the fuck up.
So my question, like, you can't defend it. And another thing too, I'm an amateur rookie content creator. Last week I decided to get into the political sphere, and before this debate, I cracked a Red Bull, stayed up all night, and studied the Middle East and studied the Trump's administration position in it. And I realized you cannot even defend Trump's, like, what Trump is doing in the Middle East.
I mean, I
What makes you
appreciate
feel
this
any
guy's
better,
honesty.
The experience that you had trying to put that argument together is how we all felt watching Biden in his last debate. So,
Well, for all the other debaters in here, all the people who were pro-Trump, MAGA got scammed. We genuinely got scammed. He ran off an anti-war campaign, and
You guys
that's
didn't get
not what happened
scammed,
at
it's
all.
just like you identify as Republicans and so you believe everything the Republicans do or
My
say
question for you, Destiny,
without
is, are
like
you anti-war?
being critical or thinking like, oh, this person kind of sounds like a
anti-war in the
lying
Middle East?
salesman.
well, what? No, I feel like it's weird to ask somebody in a country that was born of revolution.
And it's more
to say we're
fundamental than
anti-war or
just
not,
Donald
right? I
Trump.
think the
It's
question
like
always has to be, what
there's
is
a
the war?
deeper
Is it justified
bias
or not?
about
And then on what terms
conservatism
do we
and
fight it,
republicanism
right?
here that
That's
the reason
true,
that
but
they're
would you
able
ever
to
go to
allow
war in the
themselves to be so easily lied to is because you wear glasses like this. Like your patriotism, your political cultural identity is a meme. It's a joke. It's as shallow as the stars and stripes on your glasses. It's a paint job papering over something, right? But it's not real. It never was real. And actually, I'm sorry, but this is a different guy, right? Is this guy? Oh, no, it's the same guy. Okay. Just took his hat off.
True, but would you ever go to war in the Middle East? Yourself?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I got really big bone spurs. Isn't that what Donald Trump said?
I think if someone were never to go to fight themselves, they are inherently anti-war. I think you are anti-war as well. I think you're a conscientious guy, and I don't think you want people to die, correct?
Yeah, the problem when people say like they're anti-war and you say like I don't want people to die is the unfortunate reality is sometimes you don't have a choice, right? Like if there's one side that wants to engage in certain behavior that's going to lead to civilian death, it doesn't make much sense to say, well, I don't want to go to war with that person because people will die if I go to war, right? At some point, a war.
This is a super important point. And this is why I'm not like most pacifists where it's like I'm totally anti-war, just kind of general, you know, no qualifier there. Because he's right. I mean, history is littered with examples where, like the Nazis or something, where if you didn't intervene, you were basically sacrificing people to death anyways, death or torture or suffering. So the idea that, oh, you don't want to engage in war because then you're facilitating death. Well, the reality is that sometimes you have to take like like either a self-defense stance or a stance in defense of other people. Otherwise, they'll die. So like you don't have a choice between death and not. All you have a choice is in, you know, how much death potentially, or if you're going to stop the people trying to cause the death, right? And there might be some death involved in trying to stop those people, but it's better than just letting them run around just like genocide and torture and harm people. You're not saving the world by not going to war. You're just allowing the most bloodthirsty people to kill and maim and torture because you're not willing to intervene.
is going to be forced upon you. It's just whether or not you want it on your terms, right?
Do you think the Democratic Party inherently has an act of letting people die overseas? Not Americans, but other sides where they could get involved and prevent certain deaths and whatnot?
Well, I mean, the fundamental question is why do we get involved in foreign conflict? And the goal is generally it has to align with U.S. interests, right? Or regions that we're interested in, or interests of U.S. allies. It's not just to stop death. Otherwise, we'd be way more involved in other regions, right?
Okay, well, under the Biden administration, 48,000 Palestinians died. I don't think that's in the United States' interest, nor do I think it's not in our interest. But that being said, I think it's a genocide, and I don't think that. I think it's wrong.
You don't think it's wrong that
I think it's wrong.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that's a perspective that you're allowed to have. I don't really argue against for it.
So my question, you said you don't want war.
I never said I don't want war. I mean, war is a thing that countries engage in sometimes. Like, unfortunately, like it has to be a just use of war, right? Like, no one's opposed to violence. No one would say we should get rid of, well, some people might say we should get rid of all of the police, but like, we have to have some form of violence in society and between countries to enforce or to defend yourself, right?
Do you think there should be a regime change in Iran?
Do I think there should be? I don't know what would come afterwards. And whether or not there should or shouldn't be is a fundamentally different question than, like, should we force it or should Israel force it? I don't know. It's a big country. There's a lot of people. I don't know what the stability of that would look like afterwards. I do know that regardless of what lays beyond, I guess, the current strikes, though, do you want Iran to possess nuclear weapons?
I think if Israel has nuclear weapons, I think Iran should too. I don't think.
So do you think that the overall
hot take? I actually don't think Iran would do anything crazy if they got nuclear weapons. I know that sounds like a very hot take to say, but I think it's true. I think they're like North Korea in that North Korea was talking a lot of shit. They were making a lot of like aggressive moves prior to getting a nuclear bomb. But now that they've had one, they haven't used it. Why? Because it would be mutually assured destruction. They wanted to get the nuclear bomb so that they can kind of sit at that same table with the other nuclear powers and say, hey, like, you're not going to be able to just kind of trample over us. But the reality is that they're not actually going to use their nuclear bomb because they know that it would be mutually assured destruction to do so. Say whatever you want about Iran. They're not dumb. They know that, right?
temperature of the Middle East would be higher or lower? Do you think it would be more stable or less stable if Iran had nuclear weapons?
Thank you, partner.
It'd be less stable. But that being said, if you look at the history, again, I'm no political expert, but I study the history of Israel. They have initiated every single war since their history.
That's not true. It's
and
not even remotely
every single conflict that
wasn't the Six-Day War literally started by other countries?
Imagine being able to build anything, for any reason, in any style, at any scale, just by thinking about it.
I think it's popular right now because of how bad like the Netanyahu regime is and how far they've gone with their war, and I think you could probably definitely call it an ethnic cleansing. I don't know if you call it a genocide, but I think it's easy to look at that and think that oh, the Israelis are bad, Israel has always been bad, but the history is a lot more complicated than that, and it wasn't always like a clear distinction on who the good guy was in the conflict like it is right now with Netanyahu.
It's a new world of creation.
Netanyahu's very clearly pretty bad actor. But the conflict over the long history of it has been more complicated, with the Jews initially being kind of attacked by their surrounding countries. So to act like it's always been Israel, it's always Israel's fault, I think is like kind of a cop-out, and kind of like a modern propagandistic
take. The whole history of Israel-Palestine, or
it's not even just Palestine. It's I
mean, an easy one would be in '73. That was a surprise war launched by the Arab states, right? The Yom Kippur War in '73. There's no way you could say Israel started that one at the least, right?
Yeah, but they also initiated conflict with Egypt and Libya.
Well, they've been in conflict for decades, since the foundation of the country.
So if you go all the way back to Israel's founding in 1948, who do you think really initiated the conflicts which created the domino effect that
I'm not using the triggers
where we are
properly to
today?
lock on.
I don't know, God when he created the planets and the universe?
Do you believe in God though?
No.
Okay.
So I guess
there
the
you
Big
go.
Bang? I don't know. I mean, even the framing of that question is very loaded. Go back
I
to the
should have
beginning
gotten
of
my ass kicked,
Israel
aren't I?
in 48. Well, why
Guy
not
can't
the
even hit me,
kingdom
I'm not
of
even
Israel?
moving.
Like, why, like, what, how do we...
Do you support
Oh my
Israel?
God, there's
Do you
two of these
support
dudes.
the foreign aid in which we give to them?
I'd say largely, yeah.
But you don't want conflict with Iran? Because you and Donald Trump have a lot in common if you really think about it.
You gotta, when you
No.
say you don't want conflict
I
with
really
Iran,
don't.
like, no.
You
but
found like one thing
I mean,
superficially
you see a guy,
had in
like,
common.
walking to your house, and he's got like a bomb on him, and you shoot the guy in the driveway. Do you say like, "Well, did you want conflict with the guy?" He's like, "No, but he was going to blow my shit up." So
Okay.
it's like these questions. I feel like they don't get to the root of the issue. That's why I asked earlier: would Iran with a nuclear weapon, would that be more stability for the region or less? And it seemed like you said it was less. So why would we want a scenario that is inherently less stable, especially when nuclear weapons are involved?
Okay, you're right. We can go back to Israel's founding. We can go back 4,000 years to Babylon and Israel. But let's just rewind the clock a week ago. Let's rewind the clock a week ago. Israel bombed Iran first.
I mean, even
is that just a? All right, everyone. There's a fire somewhere. We all need to leave.
What? Oh, I guess there's probably like a fire truck outside that was kind of like loud, interrupting kind of. What the hell? I need the I'm not using the lock-on effectively in this game, and I'm not sure. I'm trying to look up a guide to see what the lock-on is. I have to go back to like the title screen. You know what? Let's do that real fast, because otherwise I'm gonna keep getting my ass kicked. So it's like I'll lock on, and then the lock-on will like it'll like go off of the lock. It'll disengage, and I'm not sure how. And the left and right trigger, they do something different. I'm not sure if they both have to do with the lock on, or I'm just like fucking it up.
Okay, stream snipers. Okay. The conflict is not as simple as like who hit who first. I think that you have to look at more. I think you have to be a little bit more comprehensive when you look at the region. So, for instance, do you agree that Hezbollah, like, has been at war with Israel, and the Houthis have been like shooting bombs at Israel, and that Hamas has been at war with Israel, and all of these proxies are funded by and supported by Iran, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
So, if Iran has been funding these things, and then let's say, I'm simplifying this up, but let's say Iran has been funding proxies against Israel, and then Israel shoots a bomb at Iran. Is it fair to say, even if it might be strictly true that Israel attacked Iran first, does that really fully encompass everything that's happened?
Again, I'm very new at politics. I cracked a Red Bull and just study this stuff, stayed up all night studying it. From what I've read, though, is that you have to look at the entire Middle East as a whole. Iran is one of the only superpowers of the Middle East. If they fall, do you think Israel would continue expanding and try to conquer more land, or do you think that they'll just
what would Israel
stop
conquer?
exactly where they are and they won't go any further?
I think they'll stop where they are. Like, what else would they expand to?
They would expand throughout the whole Middle East.
Where would the next place they would go be?
So from your worldview,
So much of the conservative movement right now is just like conspiracies built on top of conspiracies. So what do we have to look at with Israel to think that they have like some imperial expansionist motivation behind what they're doing, other than just trying to keep themselves safe from terrorist attacks on their country? Like, the current war is in response to October 7th, right? It's not like they just randomly started attacking the Palestinians. Now, it's unhinged. I agree with that, right? But the idea that it's motivated by some kind of imperial conquest is like ahistoric. It doesn't really make sense with the timeline and how this war got started. And also, like, what is your evidence for that, right? But it's just like a conspiracy. It's like conservatives have this mindset that like everybody else must have. Okay, it's not like it's an option. They must have some kind of nefarious conspiracy behind why they're doing a given thing. It's never kind of like a straightforward, more obvious, kind of more like sensible explanation. every time they criticize the Democrats, there's some kind of conspiracy that the Democrats are engaging in. It's not that the Democrats want to shut down the economy to stop the spread of COVID. They're doing it because they're trying to destroy the economy in order to take Trump out. Like, there's always a hidden conspiratorial, nefarious motivation behind everything.
You think Israel is only taking a complete defensive position, no offense position whatsoever in the Middle East?
Offense position is a lot different than we'll conquer territory. I don't think Israel is looking to expand anymore.
But they have expanded. You just said anymore, so they have expanded before. Why would they expand before? They're only taking
Okay, R is to
position.
lock on, L is to lock
because they got
off.
attacked by every country surrounding them, and they took territory in order to secure up their defensive posture, right?
One component in this equation is Israel's population has been increasing since its founding, correct?
Sure.
So that being said, they do have to expand, or else they will just...
There's plenty of space in Israel right now for the people that live there. It's not like they're running out of space.
So you think 100 years from now, they will never expand, they will have no interest in creating more territory, even though they have taken more territory in the past?
Well, what did they take territory for? What was the impetus for that?
To just expand.
They were in war with other countries that were fighting with them. And in exchange for peace, they gave some of that land back, right? Israel had conquered the whole Sinai Peninsula. They gave it back to Egypt in exchange for a peace treaty.
All right, let's talk about the peace treaty. You're talking about the Camp David Accords, correct?
I think so, yeah, in 78.
Okay, why do you think they took that peace treaty?
Because Egypt agreed not to attack them anymore.
That's it? That's the only reason why you think?
What else are we... I mean, they want peace, but they don't want to be at war with every single surrounding
country. For everyone
country.
who doesn't know here, the Camp David Accords, one of the biggest things about it is that Israel, post the Camp David Accords, they received the largest amount of funding and foreign aid from the U.S. post the Camp David Accords. The second one, you want to take a guess of which country took the second largest amount?
Egypt?
It was Egypt. Yeah, exactly.
That's good, isn't it? They were two countries that were fighting a lot, and now they don't fight anymore, and they haven't for 50 years. Isn't that a good thing?
So you think just paying off opponents of the United States, that's what prevents war?
Sometimes.
No.
I mean, if they stop fighting, isn't that a good thing? Well, I mean, what is the...
It's not a good thing because we're talking about a people who... So I know a lot of people in here, they don't believe in the Bible, they don't believe in Jesus.
There we
they're
go.
not biblical. But we're talking about a conflict where these people inherently do. It's in their DNA. They teach their kids about it. They teach their grandkids about it.
The Bible and Jesus.
So, let me just pay them off with money, and then they'll stop fighting.
Yeah.
How long are we supposed to support foreign wars?
I mean,
foreign
shit, if it works.
And how long are we supposed to? How much money do we have to give them? The truth is, you can't give them ever enough money. That's the truth. It will always keep going on. So we have the choice. In the United States,
apparently not, because they've been pretty friendly with us.
The Middle East, completely cut ties with Israel, or
this is part of, by the way, the founding fathers' concept behind their economics was the idea that free trade, when there's a mutually beneficial like economic arrangement, makes it less likely for there to be war in the future.
If there's one AI site builder you need to meet, this is Dope Tech from Wix. Now this whole flow is a conversation, so your words actually build your website. I'm going for a store. And after a free-flowing conversation, I get this detailed...
You know, I feel like I'm getting better at this game. Either that or I just upgraded my Zoid.
Now that's dope. Next, you can really get in there and style it your way. Here's the fun part. You can regenerate this whole thing over and over. Or you can tweak something specific, like your layout. Let me describe what I had in mind. Yeah, that's fire. If there was ever a time to speak life into your dreams, it's right now using the Wix AI website builder.
Oh my god, I barely got out of there. Okay, I can barely survive at this rate. Damn it! Oh, I should have gone right in front of him. I knew better and I still went for it.
Let's run that down. Let's say we do that, okay? Let's say that we completely pull out of the Middle East. We have no interest there whatsoever. Saudi Arabia and Israel look to the U.S. and they say, okay, they don't want to be involved anymore, and instead they decide to become bedfellows with Russia and China. Let's say that we come to our next OPEC, oil price manipulation period or whatever, and you start to see oil prices rise, or it's just rising for the United States, or Russia, China, Middle Eastern countries, everybody that kind of controls access to the Suez is going to start cutting off U.S. shipping. What does the U.S. do at that point?
Okay, so that's different completely.
Whoa.
I'll explain why.
Explain why.
Russia cut ties with Iran.
Well, no, hold on. Russia's
saying
ties were
these
cut with Iran
superpowers are
temporarily,
going
not
to
because
take
of
control of the
Ukraine.
Middle East. That's not true.
Wait, but hold on. Right now, I think Russia has other problems going on, which is why they're not helping Iran. But Iran was producing drones for Russia for a while for the
Listen,
Ukraine.
these are countries. They're not friends. Okay. When they say they're not allies anymore, they're not allies. They don't support each other. So like if you're saying it goes larger than Iran and Israel, it doesn't. It might not.
So
it might not.
So if we were to pull out of the Middle East completely, what do you think happens following that?
Not pull out of the Middle East completely. Cut ties with Israel. Don't support them anymore.
Well, we would have to cut ties, I imagine, with like Saudi Arabia and Egypt and everybody else,
We
too.
still have our bases there, so it is what it is.
So we would have bases in countries that we say we no longer want to have a positive
Why does he want to
relationship
cut ties? Like, for what reason? What benefit is it giving us?
You don't see like another.
That's what's happening in Iraq
Benghazi or
right now.
something.
We have bases in Iraq, right?
We do, but I mean.
Is Iraq supposed to be
we
like
also
a better
have a
ally or
decent
something?
relationship with this country too, as well, right? We sent them a whole bunch of money. We funded.
After the regime change. Listen, I don't support the regime change in
No, but
Iran.
I'm asking. Well, because we need to follow through with this, okay? Let's say we pull out of the Middle East, or why do you think they would allow us to keep military bases there if we're no longer going to help any of them or be friendly with any of them?
Maybe we don't need them. Maybe we can just spend the money.
Well, it's all this like maybe and like possibly and like, oh, I have like a bright idea. How about like instead of just trying to break shit for no reason, like it used to be that people criticize liberals and progressives for wanting change for change's sake. Like these people are just kind of like contrarian for contrarian's sake. Like, why don't we do stuff differently? Why don't we like stop? Okay, have you considered why we do things the way we do instead of just assuming it's a good idea to just tear it up?
I guess it's Saudi Arabia. I'm not
Saudi
sure.
Arabia. Is Saudi Arabia involved in Israel conflict whatsoever?
Yes.
Are they? How?
The Saudi Arabia is incredible. There's a reason why the most thing that came out of Saudi Arabia recently was a meanly worded letter saying, "We hope you guys are careful when you bomb Iran's nuclear enrichment plants." Iran attacked Saudi Arabia.
The Abraham Accords created normalization in the Middle East. Saudi
God
Arabia
damn it!
They didn't. So Saudi Arabia didn't technically join the
Where's
Abraham
my-
Accords, although there might have been.
where's
a
my,
the Abraham Accords is about peace with Israel.
My teammate out. What the
not
hell?
the United States, right?
No, that's
Bullshit.
between Israel and the surrounding Middle East, the Abraham Accords.
And some other countries, yeah.
Including Saudi Arabia.
Well, Saudi Arabia wasn't a formal signatory to the Abraham Accords, but they're on their they were probably on their way to normalization.
Do you think they're any threat to Israel?
Am I really
whatsoever
only
in
on
Saudi
Battle Free?
Arabia?
Jesus
Do you think
Christ.
they genuinely care? Do you think they even have the power to?
I think this will get
Israel?
easier when I get to like New Game Plus
No,
and I have
don't
enough
think so.
money to
But
buy a
I'm not
bunch
worried
of
about about the United States.
your
like
hypothetical
high-class
doesn't mean-
droids
No, my
or
hypothetical
Zoids.
is what happens if all of these countries decide they don't want to do business with the U.S. anymore.
Destiny. We don't need Israel. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you
No,
this.
what about OPEC?
We don't need it. We don't
What
need
about
them.
OPEC?
We don't need to go to war, guys. We don't need Israel. We don't need to have a regime change in Iran. Israel has
I
a
mean,
nuclear bomb. Iran can too.
I don't need a nice computer, but I have one. Like, why do you want to tear it up
unfriendly or
for?
hostile towards the United States, do you think that life would go on as normal and that would impact anything whatsoever for us?
No, it would 100%. Trade wars and whatnot. But like,
Well, then why, bro?
That's,
Like,
listen, the Earth keeps turning.
but why? Why would you want to do that in the first?
Okay, go.
Like, yeah, the U.S. will
yeah.
survive, but like, why? It's a benefit to us. Why are you trying to rip it up for no reason?
How do you feel about that? What he just asked?
What did he say? Something about? No, is Nick Fuentes here? I don't think he is allowed to go to the Bronx, is he?
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Hey,
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers.
So something I realized, if you lunge forward with that first attack, you position yourself well for the second one. So even though you're not hitting both of them, you're at least hitting the second one and like getting like good spacing on the enemy. I think in a way that's harder for them to anticipate. Because by the time you're in range for that first attack, they're like lining up their first attack on you. So if you just lunge forward to that first attack, it almost like throws off their pacing. Oh, bro, attack! What are you doing? Just like linging around. Also, these commercials are annoying the hell out of me. I need to upgrade to YouTube
I came
Premium
here to
already.
learn something. I'm very new at politics, and I think I did. Thank you very much, Destiny. I appreciate your time.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good luck. Good luck in the future.
So, I mean, it does sound like that guy is open to having his mind changed, though. I think the context of these debates is that you have to come to like debate. You can't just agree. So it's possible that Destiny's telling him a lot of things that he's kind of opening up to. Because like he said, he researched before the debate and he realized that you can't really defend Trump on policy. Which kind of illustrates that he might be open to changing his mind on things.
a little bit on labeling.
But in the context of the debate, he has
You
to.
don't like labeling him a fascist.
I don't think I like labeling him a fascist.
He has.
Okay.
He has to take like the pro-Trump position on a topic. So I might just be playing like devil's advocate.
I think that when
he
I
absolutely
think about
fits,
fascism,
by the
I
way.
think that it's nationalism as an overriding principle to fuel their authoritarianism.
Yes,
I think that Donald
that's exactly
Trump's
what it is.
Authoritarianism and ultranationalism, which he does have, I don't think those are working. I don't think one is causing the other. I think they're working tangentially together.
So you don't think
I mean, I don't think other fascist movements had that. Like, I think they were synergistic as well, right?
He wants isn't using nationalism to
I think
be
that's an
authoritarian.
incredibly like hair-splitting, kind of nitpicky, arbitrary standard that he's setting there. Distinction that he's setting there.
I think the intentionality is important when we talk about nationalism or fascism. I think it's I don't think that he cares about like.
Am I finally getting money? What the hell?
I don't really even think he cares about America that much. I think.
Yeah, probably not.
I think not to short circuit this argument, but depending on how deep in the weeds we get, I would actually probably agree with you.
Yeah.
I think he's incredibly narcissistic. Just from the brief summary or reading I had of other fascist figures, like I don't think Hitler was just out for himself. I think he did have some vision of like a greater or whatever.
like post World
I don't
War
think
I
Donald
with the
Trump.
Treaty of Versailles, right? Like he wanted to.
Sure, yeah, I don't think Donald Trump has a vision for America at all that isn't just like self-service. To him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I get.
I think there's some truth to this, and that I don't think Donald Trump has like a true political ideology that he's committed to. I think it's just about power and money, and he'll say and do whatever to get that, right? So as long as his base supports fascism, he sees that as a way of propelling himself to power, right? And so, but you know, it's kind of weird because I just realized right now the kid kind of flip-flopped on himself, because earlier he was saying that Donald Trump, the fascism for Donald Trump is like synergistic. It's not like utilizing, or maybe it's the other. Maybe he said it the other way around. I'll give him charity on that. But yeah, what was I saying?
Where I'm getting at is that his right, like he wanted to.
Sure, yeah, I don't think Donald Trump has a.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he has like a distinct political ideology. He's willing to opportunistically adopt whichever political ideology will put him into power and give him money. But that said, the effect is the same, right? Like, in effect, he's functioning as a fascistic dictator. Whether or not he personally subscribes to the ideology of fascism, it's kind of like there's a distinction there, but it's a distinction that's genuinely like a waste of time and not really worth arguing. It doesn't really matter because, in effect, he is ruling as a fascistic dictator, and the movement surrounding him is a fascistic movement, right? So splitting the hairs over that is like who cares? What does it matter whether or not Donald Trump is doing it because he genuinely feels that, or he's doing it because he's being opportunistic about it?
Vision for America at all that isn't just like self-service.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm getting at is that his underlying motivation and overriding principle for anything is ultimately his own ego.
Sure. I don't think I would necessarily disagree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it ascribes more political or intelligent or ideological malice than Donald Trump is actually capable of when we call him a fascist.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that either. I don't think I usually call him a fascist. If I do, I'm just trying to trigger conservatives. Usually I say he's very selfish. I feel like the last conversation I had on this is I said I don't think he's a fascist because I don't think he's smart enough to be a fascist. I don't even think he has the brain for that kind of stuff.
True,
it's
yeah,
literally
he's
just
politically illiterate.
Like we literally have a $5 million immigration card with a golden picture of Trump on it right now, which is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
I think that I also think it's important. I say this a lot that when you're analyzing his actions, I literally do just look at it as like a YouTuber with a lot of subscribers. I guess
like a political influencer, right?
Yeah, and I think that explains a lot of his actions.
Yeah, he's
I think
like
somebody sent me his last truth, and I think he had like Nobel Prize listed 6 times in it. Like he really thinks he's going to get one for bombing.
I want to get the Rev Raptor. I wonder, can I buy the pile bunker for the Rev Raptor, or do I have to buy it equipped?
Easy.
I'll hold out on buying it
fully immersive
until I'm able to get the one with the double pile bunker. It's a huge advantage. I remember when I used to play the game, the pile bunker Rev Raptor was broken.
I guess. What do you think about? Shit, that's kind of all I had.
I'm like the least like
Donald Trump
definition.
isn't easy to defend.
It's not a hill I die on.
Donald
Have
Trump
you?
is not easy to defend. Okay, you gotta.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel bad sometimes for coming into a lot of these debates. I feel like it's, yeah, I just saw even Kyla, people made fun of her for not being prepared to go on Tim Pool or whatever, and then now you see that clip making the rounds of Tim.
Oh, this
talking
dude has the
about
same
how,
color.
What, they wouldn't go to war
The
with
same
Iran or
weapon
beat war
loadout, too, as
unethical,
me.
And Trump is just 180'd on it completely, and everybody gets new marching
Oh,
orders,
shit.
and now it's actually
And a blade
super
like it?
okay and great that Trump bombed Iran. And,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I truly do think Trump could do anything, and at least the media figures would defend him. But I do think at some point it's going to hurt the base. Like, I think it already has.
Yeah.
I feel like midterms are going to be really good for us, right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't believe they dodged that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think so,
absolutely.
so.
I'll see you on the campaign trail, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
The country's still here.
Yeah. We'll see in a year and a half or year or so. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I got this in the bag. Just need to seal the deal.
Pleasure to meet you in person.
Pleasure to meet you too. What's your name?
Isaac.
Isaac. Okay. Speaking to the mic, directly in the mic.
Yep. It's very nice to be in the Hassan's communist chic venue, like the collapsing milk.
Okay, that's
buckets,
one
as well
down.
as the Warriors.
What the hell?
So
That got my
Wait,
attention.
Are these New York references I don't get?
you never seen the Warriors? Walter Hill. Classic
Warriors
New
is
York
kind of
movie.
terrible, by the way. It's a terrible movie.
They all know it.
I'm sorry.
People like it because it's quirky and everything, but it's actually
So
kind of
sorry. I heard the
terrible.
one Jay-Z song though.
All right,
That they all
so
play.
here's my. I agree with you in most of your political positions, but I have one big disagreement, and that's how you've been kind of treating Asmongold. Now,
Asmongold's a fucking loser. And he's also probably a neo-Nazi racist too, to be honest with you.
Asmongold is a dumbass. He is the dumbass.
No, he's not as dumb as he pretends he is. He pretends he's dumber than he is.
He has fallen into his way to becoming the #1 political streamer.
By appealing to like the worst elements in society, and he knows that he's doing it for that reason.
To you. You could talk
He's
to him,
really
you could
not.
convince him, because, like,
He's
Asmongold,
audience
you know,
captured,
does
if not.
give good
I mean, if he wasn't always like
he
that
has this white
to begin with.
trash
He knows his
wisdom,
bullshit.
These little nuggets that people appreciate.
No, he
where
doesn't.
he
He has
does one video
rationalizations
where, like,
for
some
the
guy's
behavior
like,
they're
I wish I could
engaging
be
in.
like you. I wish I could live a life of a degenerate. You play video games all day. And he says, no, my life is awful. You just wish you could make more time for yourself. Enjoy your things, and then go live a real life. Don't be.
I mean, that might be
live a
the
miserable
true
life.
Osmond, but Osmond knows that he's full of shit elsewise, right? And he's
The life
fomenting
that
like
most white American men.
some of the
they-
most like the worst extremism in our country in order to turn a quick buck, right? So the idea that he has like a terrible life and he's making millions of dollars doing it. If it was so terrible, he would just stop. He's doing it for a reason. And I do think he's like a nefarious figure.
Which is sitting around in a room getting a constant dopamine fix of video games, movies, and videos, and getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars so they can just always have a taco if they go out to fast food. That is the new American dream. It's not to be Brad Pitt. It's to be Asmongold and make millions of dollars sitting around with a constant fix of dopamine. That means that if you could fill that dopamine, that you could.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Shut
just
the
by thinking
fuck
about
up. I hate this
Meet
voice.
Base 44.
Shut up.
Shift his opinion. You could talk to him. Like you don't think you could connect? You don't think that like you could meet with him on Kick? Is that not impossible?
I'm not 100% disagreeing with you. I think one big issue you're having right now is the only other big political commentator on Twitch was Hassan, and so Asmongold seems good in comparison, but the bar is in hell right now, okay? So I agree that Asmongold doesn't say every single thing that would be the most insane stuff to say. I do agree with that. I would never say that Asmongold is a full-on Nazi. Like, he's not like far crazy right. He's just very much bought into kind of the MAGA camp, and he stakes out very micro disagreements at points. The issue that I have, I guess, when it comes to engaging with somebody like him is that we had a lot of opportunities in the past to talk that he didn't seem interested in. And if
Because he's full of shit. He knows. He already knows. He knows his support for Donald Trump and the Republicans is full of shit.
I have online when it comes to
He's doing it on purpose because it gets him money and it gets his influence. Either that or he's like a white nationalist. He wants to push for this project while pretending that he isn't aware of what he's doing.
But like sometimes you go to edgy bro, and the problem is when you go edgy bro, it's funny. I enjoy it. I love edgy stuff. But that means like all the hours you put into Israel, Palestine, all the hours of research, all the shit you do that Hassan doesn't, it doesn't matter. They can just throw it away. They can dismiss you easily. That's like kind of an issue. You run into. I've seen throughout the content.
And so some people don't like the fact that I'm edgy. Who is a non-edgy center-left content creator that anybody has even heard of in the streaming space?
Hey, the Midas touch is rising. Whatchamacallit?
They're not edgy though.
they are milk toast and lame.
Yeah, they're milk
but-
toast,
so mine
dude.
is
That's the point.
very, very, very new. But in the streaming space, like, there's a certain type of demeanor and attitude. Like, as much as people might not like it, me, Vosh, Hassan, Asmongold have a very similar-ish, like, debate bro, edgy demeanor, right? Vosh is perma banned from Twitch for talking about nuking Israel. Hassan has made
What the fuck? I didn't know
comments
that.
about brave Mujahideen soldiers fucking the eye socket of a sitting U.S. I think congressman or senator. I don't remember, Crenshaw. And then, you know, you've got Asmongold, who's made unlimited edgy comments recently about, you know, wearing a Pokemon trainer's outfit to go and watch illegal immigrants getting deported. The only difference, when people say that they don't like you because they're edgy, what they're really saying is, I don't think you have all of the political majority of power right now, so I don't like what you're saying is edgy. Because when you have all the political power, you can say whatever edgy thing you want. I don't know if making edgy statements or not helps somebody dismiss me. I know that they might point to that, but for Asmongold, there were times before I had made any crazy edgy statements, there was the perfect opportunity for us to chat. I think he was banned from Twitch for either 1 day or 3 days or a week or something, and he completely went radio silent despite kind of being in contact with DMs. I think that's intentional. I think the avoidance of the conversation is intentional. And I think sometimes people get a little bit, I don't want to say gaslit. No, I will. I'll channel my white queens. People get a little bit gaslit, okay, by some content creators who will be avoiding, and then as soon as they see one thing, they're like, oh, that's why I didn't talk to that person. It's like, no, motherfucker. Like, Asmongold is a very edgy content creator. Like, he has been very edgy. I'm very edgy. He's known that. He's known I've been edgy, and he said tons of very nice things about me, right? Throughout the entirety of my online career. We had conversations 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. You know, he said when I got banned on Twitch, he hopes the best for me on YouTube. He thinks it'll be good for my content. The only issue now is that he doesn't like it. I'm edgy in regards to his current political disposition that is getting him 50,000 concurrent viewers and, you know, 6 to 7
fuck,
figure
this just
payouts
got active
a month,
camo, what the hell?
Which doesn't seem to me to be like
actually
the
genuinely
edginess.
hard to
It seems
log
more
onto.
an issue of audience capture. That's how I feel.
Well, all right, so maybe he's a little bit audience captured, but like by the same token, you've got this
Oh, shit.
GGG community, you've got this incredible army. You're like one of the most effective political streamers in terms of like getting people into seats.
Bro, what are you
canvassing.
doing?
Hassan almost never does that. Like you can't like send some spies to like pressure him and, you know, get into that Asmongold chat and just
I think they
say,
tried
like,
before.
Justin thinks this is blah, blah, blah.
But I think Asmon
You don't
knows.
think there's any influence you could do to like kind of like give him a carrot to come to you?
I mean, I think I give carrots to people all the time. When somebody says something I agree with, I defend it, even if I hate him. I mean, I'm the only person on the internet that defended Hassan when he said that streaming was a more soul-crushing job than working fast food. Just because I knew what he was trying to say. He's just incredibly inarticulate, which has been evidenced in the past multiple times. And when Asmongold makes a good point, like I'll say, yeah, you know, I think Asmongold has a point here. I don't disagree with him here, even if my audience is primed to disagree with either of these people. But at this point, I think that's the furthest extent I'm willing to go with. It just seems like constantly building bridges where I'm the only one laying any of the bricks, and then when I do one thing that they don't like, all of a sudden they're like, oh no, I can't do it. Like at the end, what's the goal here, I guess? Yeah.
What if you could taste the movies?
We turned that idea into an $11.3 million business. With
How does
Wix.
Irvine in this game look
One
so
movie
cool,
night, we
but
were
then he
craving this chocolate
talks like
cake
such
that
a
we saw
nerd?
on screen.
And we said, how cool would it be to put on an event where people are able to eat
Dude,
what
these
they see on
commercials are insane. They're like every 5 fucking
For
seconds.
the
What the
first
hell?
event, we're literally cooking like 80 cakes out of
Insane.
an oven in my apartment and running like up and down all night. It was wild.
Seeing how successful.
Oh
it is,
my god, shut the fuck up. I know they say commercials work on people. I genuinely don't think they do, because like you're gonna realize over time that they make me like irrationally angry. I hate commercials with a fucking passion. I hate sales in general.
I'm Cal. Nice to meet you all.
Also, why I never really liked
right
Donald
now.
Trump, because he's obviously a salesperson.
So I actually agree with the majority of what you say, but I'm actually up here today because I need some help in a way. So to give more context, I have a lot of friends of mine that are both right-leaning and left-leaning. But for example, like this week, I'm starting to talk to a lot of my more left-leaning friends about Israel-Palestine.
Have you talked to your
I guess
left-wing friends
what
about
I
Israel-Palestine?
need help with, essentially, is like, how can I pull people out of that, like there's a genocide going on in Palestine kind of talking.
I mean,
you know?
unfortunately now at this point, it's probably going to
So
be
for
harder because
example,
they might actually be
I had a
vindicated
discussion
now.
with a friend this week who, you know, one of my best friends, talked to him like my whole life. But, you know, I'm trying to like explain my perspective. And one of the things like, I just need help like filling the gaps to discuss with him is, you know, he talked about the cabinet members, for example, with Israel, about how they have discussed a lot about wanting to annex the Gaza Strip. So I guess I just wanted to run through questions of where I was having trouble responding to these questions. You know what I mean? So, yeah, how would you respond to what he was talking about?
I mean, the two most frequently cited crazy cabinet members are are Smoltrich and Ben Giver are the two most kind of like
Ben
out there
Giver.
guys. I mean, those people are crazy. I wouldn't defend anything that
Shit.
they say.
Run!
I do think it's a little bit disappointing or frustrating sometimes that people are willing to take a single quote or some quotes from Israeli leaders and say this is what they're definitely going to be doing in the future. And then when you look at, we'll say like Iran or Hezbollah, and they've got like slogans of like death to the Jews, death to America, whatever, and like, well, they just say that shit. They don't actually mean it. Like, it's strange the double standard that's presented there. I think that Israel has a domestic and a foreign policy
my God,
that
I barely
might be
survived
guided, I
that.
think, by a far-right coalition at the moment. But, I mean, they have constrictions within their own country for what their population will accept. There are constrictions in the countries around them for what they'll accept. And then the United States, before Trump was there, will only accept so much as well. So there are like guidelines, there are boundaries that they have to be within. They can't just do whatever they want, because if that was the case, they would have kicked all the Gazans out, and they would have kicked everybody out of the West Bank.
Oh
all the
my God,
Palestinians
come
out
on.
years ago, decades ago.
Where's my Where's my
Yeah,
teammate
that's what I was
at?
trying
It's
to get
totally
at with
useless.
My friend as well. And there's two things that go off that. Like, going back to the quotes, like, he sent me a quote, and it was, I forget who it was by. Like I said, I don't know like every name, but it was talking about Hamas and how, we're going to take out all those dogs, referring to Hamas. And he sent me this quote, and he was trying to paint it as like, this is proof that there's a genocide because the cabinet members are saying we're going to take out all these dogs. But I'm like, shouldn't this clearly like be about like Hamas? Like, I feel like it's pretty clear. But
It's one of those things, like the people who hate the Democrats will like interpret statements like that in the most uncharitable way.
Yeah. Like, imagine,
even when like it's not, the word's not really there.
Like,
the
imagine
reading
going through
into
this
it.
time period 10 years from now and somebody reading your quotes. Like, remember when the U.S. was about to invade Greenland and Canada and Mexico and the Panama Canal because of like what Donald Trump said? Like, Donald Trump's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would take a single statement by him. Or try to like, bring it back to U.S. politics. Like, if Tulsi Gabbard said something, is that indicative of what future U.S. policy is going to be? Or
I
if,
mean, the kind of people who think that Israel
Marco
genocide
Rubio
is
said
a
something, or
genocide,
if
they
Pence
probably
said
do
something.
think that.
Not really. Like, the government is a huge, complicated thing. We wouldn't take their statements in and of themselves.
I mean, ordinarily wouldn't, but in this administration we would, because of the way that they
But
function.
again, it's very easy to say, like, those statements are important statements, assuming they're as bad as you say they are, but it doesn't mean that Israel is necessarily committed to that line of action. And another thing that's really, I think, worrying is that if you commit yourself to quotes like that, and then you
My
say that
teammate
it's going
is
to happen
totally
for sure, that's their
useless.
goal, you foreclose any type of reasonable negotiation or reasonable middle ground between any side, because you basically said it's completely hopeless.
yeah, for sure. And then my final thought was to go off that. Talking about the genocide, I brought up what many points of you said. If they really wanted to like take them all out, like, why haven't they by now? So I used an example of Vietnam, like, would we consider that a genocide? And at first he was like, oh no, but then he completely flipped and was like,
Yeah, I think.
oh yeah, there's a genocide.
The thing that you have to do is, like, you have to decide if you want to protect certain words or not. Like, genocide it means a particular thing that you are like explicitly trying to remove a certain type of people, from the planet. Like, it's got a very specific thing. And I feel like the question is always like, can you tell me what the difference is between a really, really, really crazy war where there might be a lot of civilian deaths versus a genocide? Like, is there a difference between those two things? And I guess, like you said, your friend switched on the Vietnam thing. My guess is at some point people would end up just saying, no, I don't think there's a difference. Like, was it genocidal when we nuked Japan? My intuition is that a lot of the pro-Pali people that say that it's a genocide right now, like, over half of them are probably say, yeah, those were genocidal actions. But then it's like, at that point, like, do you want to have the argument? I don't argue this that much anyway. I think it's kind of a waste of time, but yeah.
To bring it back to that, then he started to talk more about Iraq and Afghanistan, which I'm
You don't know what you're supposed to do, and somehow it all just comes together. And then you don't know why you wouldn't have known it in the first place.
too well thought out about, but I tend to think I know a decent amount about Vietnam. So to what you said, I just feel like it's kind of hard right now because people just see people dying, like children, for example, and I think it's powerful optically, but like you said, it's like we need definitions to mean something. So I don't know, I appreciate the advice though, because it's hard to get people out of that.
Thanks a lot. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Realest news source out there, Infowars. Realest news source out there, Infowars and Nick Fuentes.
Okay. Wait, how old are you? Just curious.
I'm 18. I'm turning 19.
All right. Okay. Try to speak right into the mic. All right. What do you got?
Yeah, I voted. This was my first election. All right. Yeah, this was my first election I ever voted in. Not gonna lie, I feel like I should have a big "I fell for it" ribbon. But although I still want Donald Trump to put America first, and why I came to debate you is because I believe that the tariffs do put America first.
Okay, so I guess the first question would be, if you believe the tariffs put America first, what do you think is the goal of the tariff plan?
I think the goal is to incentivize manufacturing to come back.
Okay, if the goal is to incentivize manufacturing to come back, why is Trump trying to cut deals with other countries?
Because he wants to get more investment for the country. Basically, under Biden, no one was investing, but as you saw when Donald Trump first came in his first week, he got investment from the Middle East.
Sure, so the investment has nothing to do with deals with other countries, though. What I'm asking is, why is Donald Trump, he says he uses tariffs as a negotiating tactic, and I think the negotiation is to negotiate a trade deal, but why would we negotiate trade deals if we're just trying to manufacture everything at home?
Well, it depends on what countries. Like, for example, you saw with Mexico, their reason was because of the cartels. You saw with El Salvador and that part of Central America, it was because of immigration. So it really depends on what country.
For all of them. What I'm saying is, if you want to manufacture more stuff at home...
No, yeah, he wants manufacturing
but
to
then
come
why
back.
would you be using tariffs to make trade deals? Wouldn't you just not want any trade deals? Wouldn't you just want to make it all here?
Well, he's sure to have a protectionist policy.
There's a mistake that a lot of like Trump nationalists make is they assume like anything that's pro another country is anti-America, or that anything that is like hostile to foreign countries is pro-America. Like, oh, we're engaging in trade wars. So it's like a zero-sum economic ideology that like, oh, if we have a trade deficit, it's bad for the United States. Versus like, in reality, there's a lot of like mutual benefit there. We buy stuff for cheap, and then that's like equipment that we use in the United States for United States manufacturing, United States like capabilities and whatnot. And then it's also like entangles our country in such a way that they have a benefit to, or they have an interest in the prosperity of the United States because there's an economic relationship there that they want to maintain, right? But there's like this default assumption that, oh, tariffs must be good because tariffs are against another country. So if they're in opposition to another country, then it's like a competition, and therefore we must be winning.
So they could roll back whatever they're doing that's wrong. Like, for example, Mexico, their cartels. The reason why we
are we doing anything to like
Mexico
help curb the cartels?
Tariffs,
like I would be in favor of some kind of joint international like effort to rein in the cartels.
On the border.
But I don't think that has anything to do with tariffs, right? I'm even willing to bet that that's something that Mexico would be interested in having the U.S. help them with, if we like structured that conversation the right way and you know gave the right assurances for how we're gonna like help their country out and fighting the cartels. But I don't know if tariffs have anything to do with that. And if anything, tariffs might like make it so that those other countries, or Mexico in this case, might think that, hey, you know what, can we really trust the United States to help us out when I didn't even know I can use them against each other like that, when the United States seems to be like flip-flopping whether or not they actually are on our side or if they're against us. Bro, fight, like what the hell?
For us, every day is refreshing. Whether it's delivering an order to a friendly customer or setting up a new dispenser, we make staying hydrated effortless.
Alright.
With high quality, great
I feel like we got this one in the bag now.
to your door. We're here to
As
help
long as my
keep your home
teammate
stocked
fills
without
their
the
end.
hassle. And with flexible delivery plans, you get the water you need whenever you need it. Because hydration should be easy, convenient, and always
I swear that energy shield does a lot of work for me. Nice. Dude, commercials every 5 seconds.
Trump
though.
negotiated the first trade, the big trade deal that we had with Mexico, and none of that happened, no? Like the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, his renegotiation of NAFTA was the U.S.-Mexico-Canada free trade agreement.
Yeah.
So was that all just worthless, or was that really bad? Because he's blown that up now, right?
Yeah. Honestly, Donald Trump has not been living to what he promised during his campaign, which is why I began with this I fell for it ribbon. But
I think Donald Trump has lived up to what he said he was going to do. I think the issue is that most Trump supporters just kind of, they didn't see Donald Trump for who Donald Trump was. They saw, or the Republican Party for what the Republican Party was. I think they saw what they wanted to see, and they let their minds kind of their imagination fill in the blanks while they weren't paying attention to what he was actually saying and doing. what the Republicans are actually saying and doing. It's part of their culture, part of their identity, and so they want to believe that, you know, their politicians and everything are working for them and on their side and everything. But really, it was their imagination that filled in the gaps and like made up shit. When Donald Trump was pretty clear about what he was going to do, what he wanted to do. The Republicans were pretty clear about what they want to do, what they have been doing. You weren't really paying attention to the reality. You were paying attention to what your imagination wanted to see.
The whole point of MAGA is to put America first. And
Sure, but I'm just
No. That's the whole point of their rhetoric, is to convince you that that's what they believe in. Their whole point is actually to put themselves first, as politicians, as elites, as corporatists. The putting America first thing is something to sell you on, because they know that you're not actually like paying attention to what they're actually doing. Most of the MAGA base is not paying attention. They're not actually holding them to critical account. Donald Trump could just say like, oh, my party represents good things because we like good things and we're good and we think it's good to do good things. And MAGA would be like, oh yeah, Donald Trump said he was for good things, so I'm surprised he's doing bad things now. Well, yeah, because it's just a slogan, bro. Like, obviously.
You know, the tariffs, right? So it seems like his first trade deal with Canada and Mexico, which was an
like, you seem to understand that like Democrats engage in like rhetoric and propaganda and everything, but like it's inconceivable to you that the Republican Party and Donald Trump aren't engaging in, you know, clear and obvious propaganda. And it's more obvious and blatant and brazen, but you just can't see it because like you are motivated, like you're in a motivated reasoning mind space, and you're trying to convince yourself otherwise.
And then we are how many days?
Well, what do you mean it's blown up? Like, how's it blown up?
Well, he started arbitrarily tariffing them in contrary to what...
Well, it wasn't arbitrary.
Well, it wasn't agreed upon in the trade deal. So, for instance, one of the things we bullied Canada a lot for was their tariffs on products once they reached a certain threshold of import in Canada. That was part of
Trump's... Well, you do realize that the reason why we had that with Canada is because Canada has a big fentanyl problem coming into America, right?
Well, no,
it doesn't.
The trade deal...
That's so incredibly untrue. Why does this guy believe that, though?
That was part of
like Republicans will just say that and he'll just believe it.
Isn't even happy with his own trade deals, and that was with just 2 countries. How is he supposed to negotiate 90 new trade deals? I think he's got what, like a couple of weeks left, and we've got 0.
What do you mean he's got a couple of weeks left?
Didn't he say? Am I making this? Did he say 90 deals in 90 days, or am I making that?
Oh yeah. But honestly speaking, they always roll that back, don't they? Like they always say 90 days. And
see, there it is again, right?
Yeah, but
there's that whole thing. Oh, everybody does that. That's just the name of the game. They don't. Republicans don't have any agency for the rhetoric and the propaganda and their lies and everything.
America's supposed to be respected. Doesn't it matter if people like us if they want to do business with us?
Yeah, but it's put America first. That's why that's what the whole tariffs were. And like basically, when I said manufacturing to come back, he basically wants jobs to come back because a lot of jobs have been offshored.
I mean, they have, but we're at full unemployment. I mean, we're at full employment right now, so it's not like we're hurting for jobs or anything.
Okay, let's assume
there's not more Americans to employ, like everybody's employed.
Fosters.
Well, that's the theory.
Well, no, it's not even correct a theory because, for instance, if we maintain tariffs with everybody, okay, as a
who's buying our stuff?
Why would you want to manufacture in America at all?
Well, so that you can give more jobs to Americans.
No. Why would other people want to manufacture in America?
So they don't have to pay the high tariffs. That's why they didn't want. That's why the tariffs were so high.
But the tariffs are only with America. Why wouldn't they just manufacture in Europe?
What do you mean they're with America?
If America tariffs everybody and they all tariff us back, that means if you come to manufacture in America, you're now subjected to everybody else's tariffs on America.
No, that was a part of the reciprocal tariffs.
What?
That was a part of the reciprocal tariffs.
Sure. Well, 1, the tariffs weren't reciprocal, and 2. It doesn't
what do you mean they weren't reciprocal? Yes, they were.
We were charging countries tariff rates that they weren't charging us, right? These are just lies. Like Republicans will just say stuff. They're just lies, though. These were not reciprocal tariffs. We were just like randomly tariffing people.
Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea.
Bro,
and a drive.
Shut up! I already heard about your commercial. I don't care about your product. Just shut up already. No one cares.
I'm talking about the equation that they use to.
Sure, we can.
I mean, among other things, yeah.
That has nothing to do with tariffs. It just has to do with the trade deficit.
Well, yeah, but also the whole thing. Another point about the tariffs I didn't break up was the trade deficit. America is currently under a $1.6 trillion trade deficit.
And?
Sure, without getting into... Well, hold on. Without getting into that, here, this is just my basic question. Like, I don't understand why Trump keeps saying people want access to the U.S. market because it's an amazing market. That's true, but a big reason why that's true is because the U.S. market has access to all of the other markets internationally.
Well, no, I think the U.S. market has been so interconnected to the point where we rely on the rest of the world. So the point of these tariffs is so that
it's mutual. They rely on us.
America, again, is so we don't have to rely on the rest of the world for product.
which country has a tariff regime like this that you're jealous of? Like, what country around the world are you like?
What do you mean? I don't think that matters.
Because
It does matter.
the United States is like, I don't know if there are any Europeans here, but we're like kicking everybody's ass for decades when it comes to like ever since the end of World War II.
These people don't know that because all they've been fed is like,
whether we're talking technology,
like,
military, diplomacy.
what's the word I'm looking for?
Economy,
Loathing, like fear and loathing.
Are you saying that America was number one in everything?
What?
Are you saying America was number one
In
in
a
everything? Because a lot
wide
of
variety of categories, yes, right.
say that. I mean, you know, America ranks like almost last in like healthcare and stuff like that.
This is a different, fundamentally different type of question. I'm saying that the United States was on the top of all of these charts. I'm curious, like, what country is Trump looking at that he's like, we need to be more like that country with our trade policy?
Oh, you know, I'm actually getting.
for
Oh
one,
no, I'm
probably
nowhere near
China,
close enough to
likely.
avoid the berserk
Because,
fury.
you know, we're under. That's why.
Do you think that the average American or the average Chinese person has a better life?
What's the point in that question?
Well, why would we be envious of China's trade policy if the United States is...
Well, because we rely on China for all our products, and we rely on not only China but the rest of the world for all our stuff. So that's why.
Not for all of our stuff.
For most of our stuff, we rely on the rest of the world.
For the cheap shit.
Stuff, right?
Yeah.
But we make it. We make it into.
Yeah, but don't you think that if you were to bring that stuff back here to America, it would be cheaper in the long term?
Would you rather mine stuff out of the ground, or would you rather have the car manufacturing plant?
I mean, yes, but it's at the expense of the United States focusing on like the higher value add, more advanced technology that's harder to, you know, offshore.
What do you mining jobs for Americans? Do you want to import more Indians, or do you want to get like what?
Wait, what?
Do you want to have like more Indians here, or like?
Do you think that it would be an improvement in our current situation if we went
Jesus
back to
Christ.
mining
Oh man, I'm
out of the
getting
ground
fucked up by this guy.
I think that would make no. I mean, I think.
Where's
that
my
would make more
teammate,
jobs for
bro?
Americans, though. What
Oh my god.
I mean, you could make more jobs with Americans if you
we
gave
look at
people
the
scissors and told them to cut lawn.
I mean, that's such a bad heuristic, bro.
A bad heuristic.
That's
if
not a
you're watching
heuristic,
movie
but
or playing a video
I get what
game,
he's kind of trying
mining
analogy.
with a pickaxe is like level 1. That's
But
like
he's
the
right.
first
I mean,
thing you do.
it's silly.
There is no video game where you watch it and you got a character with a pickaxe and coal, and your mom or dad or your girlfriend comes and is like, wow, you must be really far in your game. You're like, no, I'm in the shitty level 1 development phase. I'm trying to get out of here as soon as fucking possible.
You're using Minecraft to discuss about policy?
I'm being what?
You're using Minecraft to discuss
The analogy works.
Hold on. That goes because you're covering it. I'm being what for policy?
I said, are you really using Minecraft to like? As
I'm
an
using
example?
literally anything in the world when you talk about the stages of developments of economies. It's not like we were doing AI in the 1800s and then Henry
was no
Ford
AI in the
walked us back to
1800s.
making cars, and then now in the 2000s we're celebrating to go into the coal mines again, right? Our economy is developed. It's better to be a service-based and a final stage of manufacturing economy than it is to be a natural resource extraction
But if
economy.
you were to be a natural resource, wouldn't that make more jobs overall?
No, we don't have enough.
We don't have
an unlimited
people.
amount of people to work
Yeah.
jobs.
We do have enough. What do you mean? We have 300 million people in America.
They're
and
employed
also
though. That's the
unemployment
issue.
rate is so high.
It's not high.
The unemployment rate is like
There's just like
4.5%.
misinformation that this
The
guy's been
unemployment
fed.
rate is low, yes. We do not have high unemployment in the United
unemployment
States.
rate after college.
What?
Unemployment rate after college.
Why would I look at a single, like 2 or 3 years in a person's life? I would look at the overall unemployment rate of the economy, and I would see how the economy is doing. Also, why would I want to send kids who just graduated college to go work in the coal field?
I'm not saying to send them back to the coal mines. What I'm saying is that if you were to have coal mines in America, that would overall make more jobs in America.
Yeah, but we don't want any job. We want the most productive jobs, right?
Okay, yeah, sure. And like, what? Like, so
This is
you
a
want
perfect
more-
range.
you
His
want
missiles
America
can't
to
hit me at
rely
this
on the rest
range.
of the world for all their stuff?
The world relies on us for final stage of manufacturing.
I'm kind of gooning my way through this battle, but hey, I'm here for it.
Mexico and China.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But here, question.
We
What is-
rely
wait,
on the
what
rest
is
of the
Donald
world
Trump-
for stuff.
what is Donald Trump-
And they rely on us
What is
for
Donald
stuff.
Trump's
It's a
number one
mutually
complaint about
beneficial
China?
relationship.
That they're.
When it came time
I mean, by the way,
to the next level, I knew that I had to make a website.
I'm not against bringing some manufacturing back to the United States, but like this mindset around it is like mindless. It's not like targeted. It's not like, hey, we should bring this industry back. We're gonna put like this incentive in place. We're gonna have like this, I don't know, 6-7 year plan in order to do it. Like you look at the CHIPS Act, right? The CHIPS Act was that. It was incentives to bring chip manufacturing to the United States, right? It wasn't just like oh, we're going to tariff everybody and we're going to put it across the board and we just want to generally bring manufacturing back as jobs. And it's like, hey, bro, the unemployment rate's actually really low. So what are you talking about? And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just making up shit because you have this giant narrative that trade with other countries bad. Other countries taking advantage of us. We need to tariff everything. We need to bring manufacturing back, like in the most general, broad, unthinking sense possible.
A lot. That they steal our intellectual property. That's what we make, right? And Donald Trump's biggest complaint about China is that we do so much of what you guys seem to call useless work here, right? The creating of patents and intellectual property of software, all this technology, that like half the old Trump coalition, I say old because now that Elon's on, I don't know those people are there anymore, all the crypto guys and all the AI guys are like, this is the future, right? We're not doing... Like, when they say Bitcoin mining, that's not an actual mine. You know, I know actually what that means, right? Like, it wasn't until Donald Trump that people thought, like, God damn, I'm so jealous of all the people that are over here, I guess, like, picking agriculture and doing, like, I don't know, that's just... This thought is just bizarre to me. The numbers and the data don't support it. I hate to appeal to common sense, like, doesn't support it, right? Like, you've got a dad who's looking at his children and they're looking across the street and there are these horrible Mexicans roofing and he's like, I can't believe I got to send you to college, Jake. Like, back in my day, you would have been up on those roofs in the heat. It would have been way better. Like, it's just such a bizarre world to me.
Okay, this is
actual, like, things like AI, and it's like, don't you want to be
Bro,
where's
my freaking partner at?
Okay,
Attack, you bastard!
Like pointless, like logical fallacies to the guys speaking. Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
You're just using like pointless, like you're not even arguments. Like you're just saying something about like a Mexican and Jake. Like,
oh my God.
Well, if you want to use actual arguments, the actual
I'm
arguments,
off to such a bad start. I don't know if I can recover from
the
this.
United States is outperforming every single other economy in the world. The actual arguments, if you're looking at export economies, you're looking at economies like Iran and North Korea.
Well, what is wrong with
United
putting
Kingdom.
America first?
What about
Why don't you want to put America first?
America first doesn't mean that you are screwing every other country in the world. You're hurting yourself. That's not an America.
You're not putting America first just because you made a slogan and you support the Republican Party,
no,
right?
That's not.
And we're not anti-America first just because we don't repeat the
Okay,
slogan mindlessly,
you want to
right?
be an entrepreneur when you grow up?
I mean, the whole reason we want universal health care is because we want to put America first.
We have to change it from within, everyone.
If you wanted to be an entrepreneur and you were being a small businessman and you were growing in a small business, the biggest leap that you have to make as a small business owner is going from doing everything yourself to hiring other people to do the work for you because you don't have the time.
Obviously,
You don't have
so let's hire Americans.
What?
Let's hire Americans.
Sure, but what I'm saying is that small business owner is not made worse because he's outsourcing jobs that other people can do better, but so that he can focus on being the business owner, right? Because anybody can work the jobs, but he's the only one that can run the business. So in the United States, there are plenty of
Oh, these commercials. Shut up.
Just curious, do you think that there are more countries around the world that could do resource extraction or that could create Facebook or SpaceX?
Well, those are two different things.
They are different things, yeah. I agree they're different things.
They're two different sectors.
What?
They're two different sectors.
But I'm asking
Oh my God, I'm already like halfway dead.
Look at
Jesus.
the productive capacity of every country of the world. Do you think there are more countries that could create the next cutting-edge piece of software technology?
How many rounds are in battle
mine
mode
resources
anyways?
out of the ground.
I think there are more countries that can mine resources out the ground, and here in America, we could most likely make more technologically advanced things. Yeah.
What? Wait, repeat the last thing? Sorry.
Here in America, we can make more AI things, or technologically advanced.
Yeah, but
things.
we can't. If we're sending our kids into the minefields instead of into school, we're not going to make the AI thing.
But we have
12 battles.
But we have so many we have
Right
so
now.
much liquid gold under us in Texas and Oklahoma. We have so many minerals here in America that we don't have to depend on the rest of the world for all of this. We can do all of this in America, and also with doing that all in America, that also creates jobs for Americans. That puts America first.
You know that, like, historically, no other country has successfully pursued like an autarkist regime.
That's what Donald Trump wants to try to pursue.
He's going to be the first one to do it.
Wait. What did you say?
By the way,
You manufacture
autarky
all
is
of
a
your own
characteristic.
stuff.
That's
Nobody
the
else in the
characteristic
world is.
economy of fascism.
Japan, the country that's been in stagflation for like 30 or 40
Yeah,
years, and all of their young men are fucking anime dolls instead of making children. That's the country that we're going to model ourselves after?
Yeah. That. All right. Alright, I mean, my whole point gonna make an argument. Alright, my next point besides the tariffs is that the deportation.
Hold on, I just want also just the.
Oh my God.
Japan,
Oh my
right?
God.
In World War II.
Oh shit!
To do technology,
Move!
to integrate people from all over the
Well,
world.
no, like I'm in Japan in like the 80s.
Sure. But yeah, how do you get there, right? Like the United, why did we win World War II? We won that war, right? The United States did, and a lot of it had to do with things like technology, with things like nuclear weapons, and we only did that. Like nuclear weapons are not raw resource extraction or like who can mine stuff the fastest. Like it came from technological breakthroughs and innovations.
Yeah, but through help through America, don't you think Japan had help from America after World War II? I mean, we literally reconstructed their constitution.
Yeah, which is, but that's been beneficial to us, right?
Yeah, but America did it. They couldn't do it without America.
Yeah, but would America have made Dragon Ball Z? Oh, I'm sorry, what would it be to you? Naruto?
I'm not into anime.
Bro, we wouldn't have had that if it would have been from
not into
Japan. We
anime.
get things from Japan that we couldn't make ourselves, right?
Yeah, but like, what's the whole point of this Goy slop? I'm not talking about the Goy slop.
What is the Dragon Ball Z is Goy Slop? How old am I now?
No. I don't want to call Dragon Ball Z Goy slop, but I mean that in the sense of like entertainment. I don't care about that. What I care about is having Americans to have like a proper living.
Americans have what?
I want Americans to have a proper living in America.
Yeah, but everything will get more expensive if you make it here. No? So when the living
for
standards...
the short term, in the long term, it'll get cheaper.
How would it get cheaper in the long term?
Because right now we depend on the rest of the world for the rest of our stuff. So right now
because it's cheaper. Oh. You think that we could make you think that Americans could make every single thing from the supply chain from bottom to top better than every single other country on the planet?
I think if we start really trying to, yeah, we really can, and we can put America first.
Okay, I mean, no one else in history has done that. No one else in the world.
But that's what Donald Trump wanted to do, and also he told me to bring up my second point. Yeah, it's not gonna be big, but like my whole second point is essentially that to put America first, we also have to stop, the immigration that we're doing right now, both illegal and legal.
So you want to bring, so just to be clear, you want to bring all of the jobs back here. You want to do all the resource extraction. You want to do all the manufacturing, and then you want to deport 20 million people?
Yeah, and also stop the visas because the visas also exploit Americans economically.
I mean, like, I'm just curious. Wait, well, okay, yeah. All right, thanks for chatting. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we have to.
So as I just said, I'm a huge fan, and I didn't buy a debate ticket because it would have been a waste of everyone's time. I agree with 98% of what Destiny has to say.
Here comes the 2%, okay.
I feel like you'd convince me. Okay, so I actually would like to invite you, with the producer's approval and blessing, to invite either debater number 2 or number 3 back on the stage based on these 2 questions, and you can choose perhaps which one you prefer.
What was the first part?
Debater number 2 was the one advocating for South Africa.
Okay.
And the question I have is, at any point during Trump's first term, or perhaps even on the campaign trail, did you hear about and or care about South African farmers? That's question number 1.
Sure. Do you want me to answer that one now or no?
No, I want you to invite him back up.
Okay.
If that's the one you choose to debate.
Okay.
Debater number 3 said that he was a Trump supporter and or possibly still is, but up until a week ago, in light of yesterday's attack, feels differently. And the question I have is, why did it take that particular...
We are a proud nation, founded on the principles of freedom, democracy, and independence. But our very values are being threatened. Our democracy has never faced such a grave threat before.
Will you sit idly by and let others stand up for your freedom? Or will you take command and lead our nation to new heights of greatness? Join the Navy.
Shut the fuck up.
Breach or break of promise for you to reconsider your allegiance to Trump when he has broken so many other campaign promises. So whether you're considering ending the war in Ukraine on day 1, driving
you know what? I
down
forgot about the
inflation
pile
costs or the
driver.
price of goods, even the weaponization of government, or
Is,
the DOG specifically.
Debater 3 was the one with the sunglasses?
You mean the Elon sunglasses?
Oh, you're here?
And the Jesus
Can
hat?
I take a stab at the answer to that for you?
Damn it.
Yeah, the question is like, why was the attack on Iran especially harmful to your support for Trump versus everything else? Is the Is the answer have something to do with the fact that Donald Trump might not be a perfect candidate, but he can further a lot of the interests that you want in the U.S., but doing the strikes in Iran proves that he's, what do you call it? He's an Israeli puppet, more so than you wanted to be? Oh, no? Oh, okay.
I hope
okay.
you'll take more of the cult approach, but I appreciate you and invite you to choose your poison.
Okay, well, don't make me choose one. I feel bad. I don't want to...
Pressure's on.
What?
Pressure's on.
Yeah, I already answered one, but now I bring up the 3 guy.
Thank
I'm sorry.
you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Vince Van Gogh. She asked why this particular conflict made me change my mind on Trump's
oh my God!
in the Middle East, or just in Trump in general, why I support him.
Does that do a lot of damage?
We talked
no,
about
not really.
tariffs, trade wars, finances, economy. We haven't really touched on cultural issues yet, but that is a factor. And she asked, why do I care the most about this particular conflict? And I would say the sole reason for that is because people are dying. At the end of the day, we either get to live or we don't. Someone laughed, but it's not funny. It's not funny. I mentioned before, 48,000 Palestinians died. We need to stop all wars. I'm pro-peace. I'm pro-peace. Because it was the most recent conflict. We're talking about I'm talking about current events here.
This guy's just memeing.
Okay. Wait. So this is the last one, okay? I'm gonna be a little meaner now, okay? Wait, here's a question. Okay, this is what I don't understand, all right?
Sure.
So in the first Trump term, okay, we saw an increase and then an obfuscation of the data around the drone strikes in Yemen under Trump. He was fully on board with Saudi Arabia and continuing to bomb the Houthis in Yemen. We saw an actual attack on a Syrian airport in response to reported chemical weapons attacks from Assad. We saw a complete dereliction of our responsibility and duties to the Kurdish people that were helping us in Syria. We abandoned them to be laid waste to by Turkey. We saw zero progress whatsoever in the Ukrainian-Russian war. We saw a total simp fest for Israel and acknowledging the moving of the embassy, in acknowledging that we were going to do the Abraham Accords while totally neglecting the Palestinian issue. The whole border riots, the Great March of Return, all happened under Donald Trump there. When you look at Donald Trump's foreign policy in his first term, I don't know what you could have ever seen there that would have made you think, wow, this is the president of peace. I can do it.
Exactly. That's why when I researched all this at 12 o'clock in the morning off half a Red Bull, I realized that him pulling out of the Iranian deal was one of the factors that led us here. Donald Trump is not anti-war. He led off that campaign claiming he was anti-war. He's not. So yeah, I kind of agree with you, but at the same time,
this guy's shooting at nothing.
Can you name some points that the Biden administration has done to prevent deaths in Ukraine and in the Middle East?
So for Ukraine and the Middle East, I mean, they announced ahead of time that the invasion was going to happen. Biden did his best to try to rope together as many people as
no!
I mean, it's better than the Trump admin that didn't even announce to Democrats working in the intelligence committee we're going to go and bomb Iran.
48,000, Destiny, 48,000.
48,000 what?
Palestinians died under Biden.
Yeah, you know what the last time I heard Trump talk about them was? It was when he had an AI image of a new city in Gaza being made.
Yeah, he did say that. And I'm not going to argue with that point, too.
You understand also that, like, not to mix up, like, Jews in America are not the same as Jews in Israel. Like, in America,
Absolutely.
They might have their opinions and they might all be progressive, whatever. When you go to Israel, there's a reason why everybody there wanted Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Like, that wasn't like a real debate between the Israeli people. Like,
Absolutely.
I think that, yeah. So everybody knew that.
Okay, I think I have the right strategy. I just got to kind of pull it off.
This
pile driver
right? He was going to be a
kind of keep him at bay. I need to separate him too. I can't take on both of them at one time.
Happened in his first term, I wouldn't even say the writing was on the wall. Like, the actions were in the air. Like, it was a total support for Israel and everything they wanted to do.
No, absolutely. And I honestly agree with you. And that's what I discovered when I researched this three days ago. Off half a Red Bull. I didn't know anything about it, and I realized I could not defend Donald Trump's position when it comes
Imagine what else they're lying to you about.
In a world where you've constantly been told what you can't do, who will you choose?
Shut up.
Okay. But that being said, under the Democratic Party, it was not any better. If you think it was,
It was.
If you think the
It
Democratic
was.
Party is
You're lying to
anti-war,
yourself.
Biden and Kamala
Here he
Harris
goes
are
again, right?
Obama's
Here's exactly what I was talking about. Over and over again, you're going to see it. Well, everybody does it. Both sides do it. The other sides is just as bad, right? Always. It's a way of deflecting criticism. And the Republicans have trained people to do that. Okay, do it then, please. Okay, let me try to stay behind him.
You see?
Oh my god! God! God damn.
You need to do your research.
Sure.
It's
So we
just
can
a
look at.
fact.
So we can look at Biden. Wait. So we can look at. So we can.
We're gonna share.
What?
We're just gonna share. So we're gonna let that go by. So you actually didn't answer my question. And my question had less to do with foreign policy and more to do with why this particular grievance made you say that Trump has broken a campaign promise. It had less to do with foreign policy and more to do with generality. Why do you believe this was the first breach of campaign promise from Donald Trump compared again to tariffs and driving down the price of goods, the weaponization of the DOJ, ending the war in Ukraine, as he just discussed? I'm curious as to how this was the line for you. So if maybe you can explain that.
Absolutely. Again, I said before, I am not a political guy. I'm not a political expert. Sorry to disappoint you guys. That being said, why? She said, oh, goods and finances and economy. We're talking about war. We're talking about people dying. It's different.
Okay, why not? Why not on day one? Not only was the Ukraine-Russia war supposed to end, he also bragged about sending Steve Witkoff or whatever to Hamas to make a deal to release all the hostages and everything. That didn't happen either on day 1, 2, 3, whatever they were at now. Why was it the bombing of Iran where it was finally like, okay, well that's too much, I guess?
Because he has an unwavering support for Israel, and he is pro-war. That's just a fact. And if you think anything would be different under the Kamala administration, that's just not true. We both know that. Look at the history.
No, we don't know that. The Biden administration was reeling in Israel.
Well, wait. I mean, if you look at the difference,
anti-war, and he did not deliver on that promise.
Well, if you look at the difference, I mean, Biden did follow through on the pullout from Afghanistan.
Oh my god, we might have this one.
So that was one war that was going on under Trump.
Yeah,
ended under Biden.
Trump made the deal.
Oh my god!
We ended our support for the drone strikes in Yemen with Saudi Arabia. So that's the second thing that stopped. I mean, Biden, regardless of whether you think he did enough, Biden at least tried to restrain Israel in the war in Gaza. I don't think Trump has tried to restrain.
No!
Yes, he did.
Right?
Oh my god.
Biden tried to support Ukraine as much as he could.
I'm barely holding on.
It seems like Trump has left that to the wolves. In what way was Biden more of a warmonger than Trump has been in the first 100 days?
Again, Trump campaigned off of being anti-war. The Democratic Party has never campaigned off of anti-war. I know it's hard.
What are you doing? He's just like shooting at walls.
Don't know what you're supposed to do, and somehow it all just comes together. And then you don't know why you wouldn't have known it in the first place.
God damn
By
it.
studying geometry, we can think about.
Bro, shut up. I don't care.
You said that Biden was worse in his 4 years than Trump.
No, I'm not saying that at all. Trump is dragging us into World War III. Don't get me wrong whatsoever.
Hey, but you think Biden would have done the same?
He also has a support for Israel. That's what it comes down to. Do you
No, it
support
doesn't.
billions of dollars per year to a foreign country that does not help us whatsoever, or do you
I mean, they do help
That's
us
it. Are you
in a
America
lot of
first,
ways.
or are you not?
I think the current iteration of Israel under Netanyahu is
Listen,
bad,
in
but
case you
like,
guys haven't realized, we're in America. It's Republicans or Democrats. That's what you have to choose. You have the You have the choice between one bad choice or another bad choice. Which one are you gonna choose?
I don't agree.
That's all.
I think it's
an
an imperfect choice and then an incredibly fucking bad choice. I don't think it's like they're both super bad.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I don't support Trump, but at this point, listen.
To be
this is where
clear,
we
wait,
are.
how old are you?
I'm sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
When you say you don't support Trump, did you vote for him the last 2 elections?
No, I was. I think I was underage when we first started. I met him at 17.
Did you vote?
I didn't vote for him the first term, and yeah, I did vote for the second term.
If the election was held again today and you had to vote between Kamala and Trump, who would you vote for?
I would vote for Trump again. Sorry. Yep, I would. I absolutely would.
What does it mean when we say we don't support him then?
Party is not going to save any of you. They do not care.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When the Trump does it, it's both sides do it, but then
No, I'm glad you guys
at the
showed
same
up.
time he
Fun.
blames the
I'm glad you
Democrats,
showed up
and it's
to the
like
venue change, and despite
they're
unbearable
like you
fucking
can't
being
vote for them,
here,
even though he's trying to pretend like they're the same.
Congratulations, it's been fun, and-
He only says they're the same in order to like deflect criticism from the Republican Party. Well, where the rubber meets the road, he doesn't treat them like they're the same. Treats it like the Democrats are worse. God damn it! Okay, that's enough of that. You just fight wars, huh? Alright, I want to beat this round. I'm going to try to beat this round. That's probably the last thing I do for tonight.
That's nothing to me. I just fight wars.
Alright, I can do this. We can do this.
Thank you, partner. I can do it.
Can you really, man?
He can't. I forgot how much this dude got hops. You know what? I wonder if I can exhaust their missile supply and then attack them. The issue though is I look at my missile pod and I got 484 rounds. So I'd have to dodge 400, probably like 800 between the two of them. I'd probably run out of time before that happens, now that I think about it. Oh my god. Get my ass kicked. Alright. God damn it. I know I need to kind of like upgrade to like better Zoids, because the Zoids I'm fighting against, these are like top tier Zoids. But like I don't have the money to upgrade them right now. I mean, I could maybe run like a Blade Liger. I wonder if it would do enough damage with its blades in order to make it worth it. Alright, if I don't get it this time, then I'm going to call it quits for the night. I'll try again at another time. I'll come back to it when I'm recharged. Where's my fucking teammate at? God damn it! Bro, where you at? You're supposed to be bombing them. I don't see any missiles flying in their direction. Can I restart right now? No. Fine, just kill me. Just fuck my shit up. Thank you. Thank you.
We've wasted time.
Yeah, I feel like that too myself. My teammate doesn't do shit. I don't remember. Are all the characters, do they have like the same AI, or like some of the characters better than the others? Because I know you can unlock characters, but I don't know if that makes an effect at all. Alright, well, I'm gonna call it a night because I'm gonna keep bumping my head up against this wall. I think I should sleep on it, think about it. Maybe I'll buy a new Zoid or something. I mean, let's see what my options are if I were to buy a new Zoid. First of all, let's look at the stats of the Zoids that they're using, because these are like overpowered Zoids I'm fighting against. I think the two Zoids on their team are like the antagonist Zoids from the first series. So they got a Genosaur. I think this is the girl that I was fighting, so hers got durability's 3000. My Rev Raptor's similar actually. The mobility, defensive ability, turning ability is 32, search ability. Wait, do I have an EX ability? He's got the energy binder on his, but he's also got a missile pod. I could buy a Liger. Okay, right now I got the Rev Raptor. Let's see what its stats look like. Oh, maybe I choose a sniper, because I can go up high and then snipe him from down below. Especially with a gun sniper, because these things I think can jump like the Rev Raptor does. Okay, so his defensive ability is really low. His durability is actually quite a bit lower than I thought it was. I must have been looking at my wolf. His combat ability is 0. His arms ability is 0. Turning radius is good. Search ability is good. Scope is good. Her mobility is actually higher than mine. I would have thought it'd be the other way around. Turn ability is a little bit lower. Durability is way higher, so is defensive ability. His mobility is way higher than mine, and his turn ability is a little bit lower, but not by much. Here's where I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to here, the freaking Berserk Fury. And maybe the Strum Tyrant, too. These guys are badass too. The Joguluses. Especially the Godula's Giga Chad. These are pretty good too. Actually, maybe I'll roll with one of these. I've been wanting to get one of the Iron Kongs. My god, I didn't know the top one was so expensive. Giga's pretty expensive too. Godulous MK2. $69,000. Okay, there's a big jump in price between these two. Maybe I'll use this guy. I feel like I could fuck up the So this one's better in every way from this one, but it's only $1,000 more. I think I'm gonna roll with the Iron Kong. Because they're pretty beefy from what I remember when I used to play as them, and they have a lot of reach when they're using their combat ability. They have like that punching ability that can really take you out. And then you can load them with a decent amount of armament too. I think that'd be a good choice. Yeah, that or the Elephander. So Elephander's 4,200. His mobility is smaller than the Iron Kong. The Iron Kong actually has mobility like the Rev Raptor. Defensive ability of the Elephander is lower. Its turning ability is lower. Its search ability is a little bit higher. And its radar scope is a little bit higher. Yeah, the Iron Kong is Blade Liger, 48. Defensive ability, turning abilities. He's got the laser. The laser blades are really useful because you could just run up beside them and strafe them with attacks. With attack booster. What's an attack booster? I feel like this one's better. Look, he's got a higher durability, higher mobility rating. Oh no, it's smaller. Higher defensive rating, but he's a lot cheaper. You can like load him up with weapons, you know what I mean? This one's a sweet spot to get, I think. Why buy this one if this one's better and it's only $1,000 more? Bison might be kind of cool too. So with the Greenhorn, maybe. Okay, let's look at the Command Wolf, which I'm using as well. I think I just have the base model. His durability is pretty low compared to these other Zoids. Mobility is not super high, but it's okay. Defensive ability is pretty low. Turning ability, yeah. So he's actually kind of weak, and he doesn't really have many spots to equip weapons. Alright, yeah, we might consider, I think we'll consider buying a new Zoid. I might do a Blade Liger or the Iron Kong, that's what I'm leaning towards. Although I have options, I mean the Gun Sniper would be pretty cool too. Alright, well anyways, that's it for tonight. I'll catch you guys later next time.